Tell me how you really feel, cause I just wanna build with you. Black girl, tell me how you really feel. I just wanna keep it real with you. Yeah, I wanna live better, eat better. I wanna love better, sleep better. Yeah, I wanna feel so aligned. Sublime. Sublime. I wanna live better, eat better. Sublime. 1 time for elevated rhymes, 2 times for showmanship, 3 times for black hands and land ownership. Revolution I bring to you, where the ring bling to you. Nisi blues on war tunes, singing to you. I am the rebel without a pause, no applause. Trust me, I am Chuck D, getting mine off. Many fools, they clock watching my moves, and I needed a reappraisal of flavor. Took some time off now. Back Jesus, black fetus, slumbering unborn. Ark of the covenant, curtain untorn. I'm the rose that rose to etches prose in Rosetta Stone. Still yelling it through a megaphone. Always repping, baby, forever home. I ain't the pot calling the kettle black. I am the flame keeping the kettle warm. I'm to blame for the renaissance that's cold. I write and recite it with down feathers on. I love you, and write and recite it with down feathers on. That mean that shit cold. And I'm the coldest. Listen, it's the message right here. Black boy, tell me how you really feel, cause I just wanna build with you. Black girl, tell me how you really feel. I wanna keep it real with you. I wanna live better, eat better. I wanna love better, sleep better. Yeah, I wanna feel so aligned. Sublime. Y'all give a round of applause to this band right now. When they tell me they want to feel the chords a little more than we got.
What's up, people? Put a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me okay. What's up, Courtney? I see you. This is going to be an interesting conversation. I'm excited. As you can see, it's a surprise stream. We are streaming on a Monday evening, which we typically do not do, but some things have been happening, so I thought, why not? All right, I see some thumbs up. Invite as many people as you can. We will be speaking to a young lady who recently went viral. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting conversation. As you can see, it is a members only chat, so consider becoming a member. If not, you could bypass it through super chats, but I want to keep the conversation to a minimum, and I trust my members. They don't waste unnecessary words. So shout out to all the members. Shout out to all the new members. Shout out to the people just watching. So I shot my shot. I was like, okay, let me slide in her DMs and see if she'd be willing to have a conversation. And thankfully, she said yeah. So we'll be chopping it up with Jalea. I'll ask her the proper way to say her name when she comes on. But yeah, I'm excited. Since this is a Monday stream, I'm not going to go through the whole spiel, but we have an episode dropping tomorrow. Episode still dropping Thursday. Friday's live stream, we'll be collaborating with Dr. T.S.on Johnson. So do not miss that. We're going to be talking about son husbands. So I'm excited about that conversation. So meet us right back here on Friday. All right. So yeah, basically, if you guys don't know, the young lady we'll be speaking to, she went viral this week for appearing on a dating show where she essentially curved a nuclear physicist. And a lot of the conversation has been around, what do women want? Do women actually want Russell Wilson? So yeah, we'll be talking to her. We'll be detailing kind of what happened and getting a better idea of how we move forward as a culture. And I think some pretty productive conversation could come from this recent virality. I know a lot of people are still talking about what's his name, Michael B. Jordan and Lori Harvey. They broke up recently. So yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. I saw Michael B. Jordan. He's been all over social media because he was at a Golden State game and he looked sad, I guess. So yeah, basically, what people are saying is that young men or men in general no longer have an incentive to be good dudes because it seems like good dudes get the short end of the stick. So that's the core of the conversation, and Jalea agreed to pull up. So I'm interested to hear her thoughts on, you know, the virality that she's experiencing, and also like how we need to digest, address the right conversation to be having from this. So talking about good guys, talking about futures, talking about Sierra's prayer, the whole nine. So I have some bullet points, but members, feel free to add questions to the chat. Feel free to add questions through super chats if you're not a member. But yeah, I think this might be good. Yeah, so I'll start with playing this clip. This is the clip in question. She was on Melly Monaco's show called The Pineapple Show. It's pretty much a speed dating show. And this young man popped up to, I guess, try to get the attention of Jalea. And within 2 minutes, she pretty much said pineapples, which means I want to move on to the next person. And everybody's kind of like, that's wild because he's a nuclear physicist. He seems to be a good dude. So why was she so quick to dismiss this good dude? So that's what we'll be talking about. She did tell me she was going to be a little late. She said she was actually going to get here closer to 9:30. So in the meantime, I'll just address the chat. So questions, concerns, y'all feel free to, talk to me in the chat. We've got 130 people. Shout out to y'all. Paul, I see you, man. Everyone is just failing to see the obvious and inconvenient truth. Silent Lamont. Hopefully we can get to what that is and what, that means. How many examples people have to see. So during this past Friday's live stream, one of the things that I brought up was gaslighting, right? And I talked about the origin of gaslighting. I talked about how men these days, good dudes, nice dudes, feel gaslit by our women. And part of where that comes from is, typically, and dudes notice, when you're venting or you're airing your grievances around women that you've come across, maybe in the past, or what in the past, romantically, whatever, typically we're met with, I don't know anybody like that. None of my girlfriends are like that. But the beauty for me of social media and of this new video heavy generation, and low key, this unapologetic generation, is we get to see things as they are. We get to see the raw, uncut, uncomfortable truths. So men have been saying women don't actually want good dudes. And now we're seeing women seem to curve good dudes, you know, on camera. So I think a lot of dudes are validated by the fact that you can see the things that you felt or the things that you've experienced. But unfortunately, it still seems like it's not enough. So we're gonna talk about that. What is obvious in regards to Michael B? You know, so with that situation, there's I think we can't understate the fact that he's 10 years older than her. I think that's an important piece of context, like, because I think a lot of people are running with the fact that, oh, she wanted to go back to the streets. She wanted to, you know, do her thing, and he wanted to settle down. But when you consider the fact that he's 35 years old and she's 25 years old, I think, you know, it makes the conversation a little bit more complicated. But yeah, y'all feel free to talk to me before she shows up, because once she shows up, it'll just be my undivided attention on her. Matter of fact, what I might do, I might just go ahead and play the clip so she doesn't have to watch it for the 50th time. Mr. Williams, shout out to you, new member. Thank you so much. It's difficult to watch, really. Yeah, so like I said, we're going to rewatch the clip for those of you who haven't watched the clip. And hopefully she shows up in the next few minutes, and we'll get to talking.
What are you reading?
Yeah, I was actually reading. I ship out in a few days, so I was just reading The Art of Strategy.
Okay.
For the military?
Yeah, so actually I'm a nuclear physicist for the Navy.
No.
So I do that in a few days.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
How old are you?
I am 27. I look a little young. I'm not that young.
Yeah, you look young.
So where do you live?
So I'm actually in the Woodlands, Texas right now. Right down there by Houston. I'm about 30 minutes away from Houston. So I'm a little close.
Oh, nice. Okay, so tell me a little bit about yourself.
Man, where do I start? I like martial arts a lot. I did a bit of pharmacy back when I was a little bit younger, about 2-3 years ago. I got certified at pharmacy around when I was 17. I didn't really do anything with it. I went to university for a while. I was getting like a business degree. So I have a bachelor's in business. And then I did pharmacy for a little while, for about 3 years, and then got bored. So I was like, let's go see what the military has to offer. Didn't do anything. I did my PICAT about a year ago. Got a 96 on that. It goes up to a 99, got a 96. They offered me nuclear physics, and I was like, why the fuck not? So I went there, and now I ship out in a few days.
Oh, okay, nice. Well, best of luck as you ship out pineapples.
Yeah. Why?
Because he literally didn't tell me any qualities about himself. He's just like, I made a 96 on this. I did this. And I feel like I did that at first too. But however, I need a man with some personality.
You felt that quick? You know you didn't have personality?
Yes, I'm really good at reading people.
Okay.
What's up?
I was muted. All right, y'all. So that was the clip. Jalea is in the building. I'm pretty excited. Real quick though, Jake Smooth Lifestyle, shout out to you for the super chat. He says, first time checking you live. I've been watching you for a minute. Good vibes, bro. Keep it going. I appreciate it, brother. Courtney Michelle says, let me go Cougar real quick. Okay. Shoot your shot. Apparently you're a sex symbol in this space, so you'll be all right. Gracious greatness. He said, who's here? Well, our guest is here. She's in the back. So yeah, without further ado, Jalea.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. First of all, I want to thank you for honoring the invitation. I know your DMs have probably been crazy, right?
Kind of, sort of. I mean, I've been getting a lot of hate mail.
Damn. On Instagram or like Facebook?
Facebook, Instagram, damn. Twitter.
Damn.
Everywhere.
So what have you experienced as far as being viral? I've never gone viral, so I can't speak to that. So like, what does it feel like to be viral?
It's interesting. One, I was not expecting it at all. First of all, I did that show 3 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. So now the fact that it's just starting to pick up, I was kind of like, whoa. But it's a lot. I don't know. I don't really know how to feel about it. I was definitely shocked on how much hate and backlash I was receiving, especially from the women. I was like, whoa, y'all are on my head. Right. But the day, I did do a public live virtual dating show. So I guess I signed up for it. So
I was watching one of your interviews, and I think actually the one you just did with Melly, and you said most of the hate is coming from women.
Yeah.
Make that make sense. I don't understand that.
They're on my head. They're like, first of all, in particular, this one comment just stood out to me. And I've been seeing this a lot. It's like, oh, she doesn't deserve him. And I'm like, so especially, and it's a lot of other Black women in particular. So in my head, I'm like, so what are you insinuating? You're saying that I don't deserve a good guy just because I decided that he wasn't for me. So are you saying I deserve to get my ass beat? Are you saying I deserve to get cheated on? What are you saying? So in the same token, y'all are saying all these hateful, y'all are telling me that I'm a horrible person basically, but what does that say about you?
Okay. When I first saw it, I had a bunch of thoughts. Not necessarily about you, but about the culture. Because what I talk about here is pretty much Black culture. I talk about how the divide between Black men and Black women is affecting our community, right? So I always come from that angle. I come from the Black angle. But what do you think is really rubbing these women the wrong way? What do you feel like is really at the core of why they're mad? Speak your truth. Speak your truth.
I would say, I guess naturally, as Black women anyways, I feel like we're always like, Black men ain't shit or Black men ain't this or that. So maybe everybody's coming from a sense of okay, here's a good Black man, right, in the sense of he has a good job, because if we're being honest, that's all we know about him from what he told me. Right. So, and they're like, how dare you not appreciate that? Because so many of us want this, and
it's hard to find.
The audacity of you to be like, oh, he doesn't have personality. But in my head, if I'm being honest, I feel like dating a good Black man is a standard. You know what I mean? But a job is, again, dating a good Black man is a standard. Anybody that you're with, a man having a good job should be a standard, but that isn't all that it takes to make a relationship work. You know what I mean? I'm not putting you on payroll. I'm not dating your resume. That's only going to get us so far.
Got you. Okay. So before we really get into the nitty gritty, first of all, how much time do you have? I don't want to overstep.
No, we can talk. I'm game.
Okay. Let's do it. Okay. So before that, one of the good things about this, the bright side of this, is if you have other projects that you're working on, if you have a media project, if you have a company, this is great publicity. Infamy and fame are pretty much the same shit. So what are you working on? What are some things you have coming up that you want to plug in the meantime?
Honestly, so I just retired from the NBA. I danced in the NBA for 4 years.
Okay.
So now I'm making that crossover into dancing into the industry. So I'm working with more artists. So I guess that'll be a plus. You know, everybody knows my face now from that.
Right.
Earlier this week, I literally just signed a lease on a brand new dance studio space. So I'm opening a dance studio.
Congrats.
I'm also in nursing school.
Damn.
So I'm doing me. I would say I'm definitely, you know, a hustler.
Damn.
It's also very funny too because people automatically have this idea of me, and I feel like I've been stereotyped. I've heard people be like, "Oh, she's probably just a bottle girl," and no disrespect to bottle girls or anything like that, but I'm just like, what the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah.
I've been seeing people say that like, "Oh, I'm sure she has 3 kids." I'm like, actually, I don't have any children.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just interesting to just see everybody's like assumptions based off of that clip.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, so I owe you a favor now. So if I can lend my platform to you as you build what you're building, just let me know.
Oh, that would be awesome. I appreciate it.
Yeah, let's do it. But real quick, I wanted to address some super chats. Sean Johnson, shout out to you, brother. The generous super chat. He said, "Peace and love, brother. Keep building. Thank you so much. We're gonna keep moving." Yeah. Who else? The Lucid Experience. Shout out to you, bro. I'm curious to know what her definition of having personality is. We're gonna get to that. But before we get to that, obviously, everybody's been talking about Michael B. Jordan and Lori Harvey. What are your thoughts?
I don't really know too much about it. I just saw it hit the blog saying that they broke up. But I feel like one thing, I don't know her personally, but just from, you know, the girls that get it. And I feel like she don't play.
You know, the thing with me, you know, like I just found out, apparently she's like 25 and Michael B. Jordan's like 35. So when I found that out, it kind of changed it for me. But everybody has pretty much been talking about how it seems like it doesn't matter how good a dude you are, you can still get played or you can still get taken for granted. So in the climate of Will and Jada, in the climate of Steph and Aisha, in the climate of, I guess now you, there seems to be this idea that like, yo, even if I'm everything women are saying they want, I'm gonna still get curved. So like, why do you feel like dudes feel that way?
Well, first, let me say this. It's the same thing with women. Like in every regard, you can be the best woman. You can have 4 degrees, you can be making bank, you can cook, clean, you can get right with him, give him what he needs, and you still might get cheated on. I feel like relationships are always a case-by-case scenario, and it's really just about what's compatible for the 2 people and what works. So just because that you may be a good guy or it may be a good woman, that doesn't mean that that particular good guy and good woman are compatible. And I also think it's interesting with relationships because people constantly change and evolve. And so me personally, I feel like one of the hardest things about being in a relationship is learning how to navigate when your partner is constantly changing or people are constantly evolving. That's hard to figure out, to combine, you know, 2 separate lives.
Do you feel like our, I guess, current climate isn't really as thirsty for or hungry for a relationship like maybe previous generations?
For sure. I don't feel like we value them as a whole. I definitely feel like social media has ruined that because people have this like perception and idea of what they feel like a relationship should look like. Or for instance, I'm gonna use India and Lil Durk as an example.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So recently, I think for India's birthday or something like that, Lil Durk like rented out like the whole mall for her and blew obviously a big bag. And I saw so many women being like, "Oh, this is goals." Like, and I'm like,
this is the standard.
Yeah. I'm like, what do you mean? Like the average person or the average man or woman, like that's not realistic. So I feel like in a sense, we're definitely out of touch with reality because we see what's hot and what's popping on social media, I guess.
So like, where do you think we're going? Like if you could, I don't know, project yourself 10, 20 years from now, what do you think is going to be the result of everybody feeling like, oh, there's always going to be a better option?
Marriage and families are going to decline drastically. For sure. The divorce rate will skyrocket. I'm not saying that it's impossible. It's definitely possible, but
yeah.
I think as a community, especially within like the Black community, we have to get back to a common ground to where like we appreciate family and the foundation and respect it. I feel like we don't respect it anymore.
Is that because we all feel like we have too many options?
I would say, yeah. Everybody is super accessible.
Okay.
For sure. Okay. Especially depending on where you live in the demographic, because I'm in Atlanta, obviously. And I'm telling you, it's free, it's rough out here.
wait, say more about that, because I keep hearing about Atlanta. I only go there for work. I work there. But like, tell me more about like the dating scene as far as like it being rough.
It's rough. It's just, I would say it's literally just a good time. Like, and then the standard of dating out here, I feel like is literally, it's just, okay, I'm gonna link up with this guy. We gonna go out. He gonna spend X amount of money on me tonight when we go from this club to this club and that club. And that's like a never ending cycle. Everybody
so it feels like everybody's replaceable.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
It's like a evolving door. Think of it as one continuous party.
Damn.
All of the time.
So I mean, so how old are you?
I'm 23.
23. Okay, so at 23, I guess that's good. But like, do you plan on staying in Atlanta, or do you plan on like after a while, I'm gonna move out and try to find me a husband and get out of this revolving door?
I don't know. Well, to be honest, I'm not really on the scene like that anyway.
Okay.
I'm kind of to myself, I would say. I mean, I'm not saying I don't go out. That would be cap, but I'm not like a serial club goer or somebody that's just like always outside. So I wouldn't necessarily say that I would get out of Atlanta. I would just move to, a suburban area. That's
like
more
Decatur and
or like Kennesaw or Gwinnett or something like that. Somewhere I just feel like is more equipped to have a family.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So let's talk about how you even got on the show in the first place. So what were you just like sitting on the couch and you're like, you know what, I'm bored, let me get on the internet and see? Or were you a fan of Melly's before and you found her and you started doing that? How did that happen?
I had no idea about the show. She actually reached out to me and she was like, hey, my name is Melly. I do this show. Yeah, so she reached out to me and she was like, it's pretty cool. She shared it was just like, you'll probably gain some followers off of it. Like, it's a fun show. And so I was just like, all right, sure. Why not? It was, for me, it was shits and giggles. Like, it was nothing.
Yeah, it wasn't that serious.
No, I wasn't seriously going on there to find somebody to fall in love with or being like, we're just going to date. That was not my intention. I was just like, and then obviously she's a Black woman too. So I'm like, all right, let me support my girl's brand, and networking and building connections. So it literally was, for me, it was totally just a joke. It was like all fun. She hit me up and I'm like, sure, why not?
Okay, so tell me about the dudes that came up before Nuclear Physicist. We're gonna work our way to Nuclear Physicist. So like what happened before that?
A lot happened. It was pure chaos.
Okay.
Some people were totally like out of the box. Some people, all kinds of people called in. I'm not even gonna lie. Some of them I literally just talked to because I thought it was funny and I thought it was absurd and it gave me a good laugh. So I would say a wide spectrum: artists, rappers, trappers,
club promoters,
like literally a wide spectrum.
What is her goal? Is her goal actually to like link people up, or is her goal just to like entertain people and like the most absurd personalities come up and shoot your shot?
I'm not sure. I can't really speak for her because I'm not sure. I feel like that's a Melly question. But I'm sure, I mean, probably a little bit of both. At the end of the day, the world loves to be entertained. So
Yeah. Because I mean, like her response was like, damn, 2 minutes. So at first I thought maybe she was like, okay, I'm trying to like find you love here. You're playing. Did you get a sense of that? Or like, or was it just part of the show?
No, I feel like maybe she did give me a little sense of that. But I think maybe she just genuinely felt like, damn, like you ain't give him enough time, or why?
Right. Okay. So the clip that I saw, he was reading a book, and then he got brought up, and he seemed nervous. He seemed like he was like, I don't know what to do right now, so I'm just gonna talk about what I do and my resume. And typically, that's what dudes do. Like, I was looking at your face. Your face the entire time was like, oh, okay. I'm kind of bored.
I got a rebuttal for you on that.
Okay, talk to me.
If you really watch the clip when he told me his job description, you literally saw my face. I went, oh shit. Like I was intrigued. For me, watching the clip back, I know myself. So I feel like once he continued, as he kept talking, because literally
when it changed.
Yeah, I'm like, I literally saw the decline happen in my face. But because at the time, like what was going through my head was, I'm like, because I genuinely thought he was cute. People don't realize that I didn't have to talk to him. I did think he was cute. I wanted to see what was up with him. I intentionally I allowed him to continue to speak because I was waiting for him to say something specific to me, if that makes sense. So in my head, I knew that I was waiting for it, but then when he didn't do it, I was just kind of like, oh my God.
Okay, so give me an example of if he had said this thing or if he had come at me this way, it would have gone on a little longer. What do you think he could have done to like change the outcome?
Well, I won't even put it all on him. I feel after, hearing other people's opinions and like talking about it too, maybe I could have asked him more questions because he was nervous and maybe that would have steered the conversation in a different direction. But I would say this would be my playbook, right?
Okay.
So
give us the game.
I would say this too. Also, if he was a little bit more confident, like if he was talking to me, that made me like sit up in my seat a little bit. I'd probably been like, oh shit, like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, you are a freaking scientist. Like, that shit is lit, you know what I mean? But in my head, I was waiting for him to be like, all right, you let me know that you're about your business. You got a solid job. You talk like a little game to me. And by game, I mean, this is what I like to do for fun. These are the kind of dates I like to go on because that's what makes you you. Or I like this kind of music. Like it's all about having balance. And all I heard was, and there's nothing wrong with somebody who works hard. I work hard, but you got to have some work and some play too, because if you're just going to be at work all the time, what are we going to do? Right.
Like that's going to get boring quickly, right?
Or even, and you can be at work, but if that's the only conversation we're going to have, then what are we really doing?
Okay. So back to this question here. The Lucid Experience says, I'm curious to know what your definition of having a personality is. So when you said at the end that he didn't really have a personality, what did you mean by that? And like, what would be an example of somebody who does?
If somebody has a personality, it just kind of shines through. I literally feel like his conversation was just like flatline the whole way through, if that makes sense. So if he would have told me something more personal about himself, then to me, that literally would have been like, oh, okay, he has some kind of personality. But I feel like I didn't get any kind of sense of that because all he told me was about his accolades, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, the thing is, I'm kind of in the middle because I guess I'm what you would call like I got one foot in good guy and the other foot in fuckboy. Like I'm right in the middle, right? So I have an appreciation for both. Okay. And what I've been trying to do on this channel is for the young men, kind of give them game on how to take pieces of fuckboy and add it to the good guy repertoire and have good results. But sometimes it seems like you might compromise the good things if you go too far with the fuckboy stuff. So like, how does a guy So him, for example, how do you feel like he can maintain his drive and his book reading and his nuclear physicist stuff and still have time to become interesting or learn the game, like you put it? So it'll be easier for him to like dialogue with women.
Honestly, I feel like he shouldn't change who he is.
Okay.
All of those things. And I feel like it was this misconception on the fact of I didn't appreciate his job or I didn't appreciate what he did. And that's totally not true. Again, I think that shit is dope. I feel like for him, he needs more confidence.
So explain what that means for you.
Like okay, I'm gonna break it down. Tell me.
Talk to me.
Like, have you ever came across this girl that you wanted to talk to, or like have you ever just been around a female and she just has like this bad bitch aura about herself? Like she walk in a room and you like, damn, like I want to see what's up with her. For real.
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking
and it's
about.
just like, I feel like he needs that.
Because so is it like arrogance or like?
It doesn't even have to be arrogance, because you can have a strong a strong presence and still be nice and respectful and still be a good guy. Everybody also, let's also have this conversation. Let's pause.
Okay.
What do we consider a good guy? Because from my personal opinion, from that clip, he was automatically deemed a good guy because he had a good job, because that's all we knew about him, period.
For me, he reminded me of certain dudes that, you know, they would give the shirt off their back. They have no ulterior motives. They'll treat you nice, the whole nine. So that's what we're talking about. He was Russell Wilson Jr., pretty much. In that clip, he came off like Russell Wilson Jr. So to me, like, he seemed like a good guy in the sense where, like, he wouldn't be selfish in a relationship. He seemed like he would be, you know, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? You know, that type of guy. So I think the confusion with guys is like, women are saying they want Sierra's prayer, but when they're presented with a potential Russell, because again, we don't know, you're right, it seems like it's like off-putting off top. Just immediately it's like, eh.
But everybody has this like idea of Russell Wilson, but I'm gonna tell you what I get from Russell Wilson.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you what I get from Russell Wilson. To me, yes, he is a great man. You can tell that he would give Sierra the shirt off of his back. He could do whatever for his family. But to me, I feel like he's still the head and Sierra's the neck, if that makes sense. So he's leading and Sierra still follows. Like, it doesn't really give me that she bosses him around. I feel like he's a man, and I feel like he still has that confidence within himself to where she's submissive to him. I don't feel like, I'm gonna just be honest, this might sound bad when I say this, but me personally, when he was talking to me, it was given, I'm gonna talk back.
Which is like you didn't respect his energy. Like, what do you mean by that?
I wouldn't even say respect it, but it was just given, and I don't even want to say childish energy because I don't want to turn into a soundbite, but it was just given like, not that, maybe it's because the confidence, he was lacking the confidence, so it wasn't given like, I'm a man that you should follow, or I necessarily trust your judgment, because that's what a man is. Like, for a woman to be submissive to a man, like, I need to feel safe, I need to trust your judgment.
Okay, so if you had to give a TED talk, you had to give a seminar on how to go from that guy to a guy who would have been successful, what do you think he needed to tweak? Like, so his energy would come across as, you know, I'm that dude and you need to listen to me when I speak.
Literally just his confidence. And he needs to engage more personal qualities about himself. I also feel like it's a very interesting perspective because I also realized that a lot of these women were on my head, but it's just like, obviously y'all standard is a man only having a good job. Y'all don't care to know shit else about him, but except the fact that he makes 6 figures. That's enough. Because also my other perspective is this, right? Being somebody who used to like hold so much value within themselves with the things that they accomplish is just like, do you really know yourself outside of your job? And these accomplishments, do you understand yourself? Do you know what makes you happy? Do you even know what kind of relationship you need that you would like for yourself?
I think that's a really good question. I think my concern, if I had to like boil down what I'm scared of. So my little brother's 17.
Okay.
And he goes to charter school. So he goes to charter school with like a handful of black people, and it's pretty much just a white school. And, you know, I'm pretty much Black Power. I'm pretty much a Black Panther. I'm like an African Black Panther. So I'm all about, you need to get you a black woman. You need to get you a black girl. You know, y'all need to do that whole thing. He was telling me that the black girls don't want regular black dudes. They want you to be like pseudo masculine. They want you to be the baby. They want you to be gangster and know how to do this and do that and do this. So it's easier for them to go towards white women, because to the white woman, he's a thug off top. Like, I see a black man and I already feel that sense of whatever. So for the young dudes, because I think that's my biggest concern, for the young dudes, how do we keep them on track with the whole black love agenda and not give up and say, I'm gonna just take my business to white women because they appreciate me more. They don't hold me up to extra like rulers.
Now, I will say this because I'm not oblivious to the fact that black women, we are definitely guilty of being like, oh, we want a thug or we want this, that, or the third. But I just feel like that's something that you have to give him reassurance on. Like, no, there is somebody out there that's going to appreciate you for you, and you don't have to be these things. Now, me personally, I would say this. I feel like obviously when I was like a little bit younger, that kind of stuff was like exciting to me, right? It's like, oh my God.
You talking about the thug shit?
Yeah, like when I was younger, I think naturally it's like, oh, that's exciting, blah, 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 blah. But now I'm going to keep it a buck with you. I don't want no thug. Like, I got a whole brand. I got a whole business. Somebody
got stuff to lose.
He a trapper. That is not cute. That's not attractive. No. So to me, I'm going to keep it real with you. My definition of a man is a man, obviously, who can provide. If my car breaks down, can you fix my car? Can you change my tire? Like, because let's keep it a buck. I feel like nowadays these men don't know how to do that.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I agree with you.
You know what I mean? So that's my definition of a man. Are you kind? Are you caring? But at the same time, I think you still just have to have like that confidence and a swag about yourself. And I don't even think necessarily having a swag about yourself means you being a thug or a trapper. You know what I mean? So I feel like with your little brother feeling how he feels, I just think it's a matter of finding that balance of a woman, or finding a woman who just appreciates him for him. And obviously if it's somebody who's just like, oh, I want to just be with the thug or a rapper, he don't need to be with her anyways. That's crazy.
But low key, like, that's not what the girls are saying. The girls, it's not just thug or intellectual. They want all the above. They want a thug, intellectual. They want Tupac, right? So like black boys are feeling like
a Nipsey Hussle.
Exactly. Black boys are starting to feel like nothing I do is good enough. So like, what do we say to them who are like, yo, it doesn't matter if I'm 6'3", I'm still not big enough. It doesn't matter if I got a 4.0, I'm still not smart enough. And honestly, like, a lot of our women are kind of trained to constantly check men, like constantly test like his gangster, and test him and see if he's really that guy. So like for the young boys coming up, what would you say to them to keep faith and be like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? We're going to improve as Black women so y'all don't have to leave. Because unfortunately, like, I know a lot of people were pissed off about Bronny James. That's going to keep happening, especially with this whole Michael B. Jordan, especially with Jada Pinkett and all this stuff we're seeing in the culture.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate for a minute because I'm gonna be real with you all. I also feel like that's kind of a cop out to a sense to just automatically be like, oh, Black women are the reason why Black men are dating white women. No, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, and I'm gonna say this: a lot of Black men feel more superior with another race of a woman that isn't Black because they feel like it validates them as a man, because they feel like they are that man if they can obtain a woman or cuff a woman who is white or who they deem as exotic, because that's cool. And it has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that Black women or we're emasculating men or all this other stuff, because honestly, I've seen Black women start dating white men because they like Black men's not worth a damn either. Like, you know what I mean? So I just think that's a tough topic.
Well, we have it here. This is the place we have that topic, and I think that's a thing. I think that happens. I think some dudes just like, you know, I'm really critical of dudes who, you know, they'll date a subpar looking white woman, right, instead of a decent looking Black woman. I'm really critical of that. But at the same time,
just to say that they're with a white woman.
Well, at the same time, when I'm having conversations with these dudes, especially now, like I'm blessed to like be in dialogue with pretty powerful men, pretty powerful Black men. That's not what they're saying, right? And I think maybe subconsciously it's a part of it, but most of what they're talking about is that, yo, our women are men. Our women are moving like, acting like, dialoguing with me like a fellow man. So like, how can I go fight the world as a Black man and then come home and like live with another nigga? Like, I'm not gonna do that. So I'm gonna go get me a Hispanic woman. I'm gonna go get me a white woman. But we don't talk about that part of the conversation, but it's real.
Okay, I think that's fair. So can I ask you this? Then to you, what is a woman?
Well, on a basic level, a female human.
Okay.
Or
what makes a good woman when you are dating a woman? What's the qualities that she has?
For me, it's about like the things that are going to work well with me. So I want somebody who's less disagreeable than me. I'm pretty disagreeable as a person. Like, you're gonna have to show me, right? I don't want a woman with that same energy. Like, that's a lot, right? I need somebody who is more patient than me. I'm not a patient person. And what's funny is a lot of my subscribers think I'm patient. I'm patient with work, but I'm not patient like for real. So I need somebody who's patient. I need somebody who's nurturing. I wouldn't consider myself particularly nurturing. So like, honestly, like I need a soft to my hard. I don't need another hard person. But when I go out into the world, a lot of our women are hard. Like even their energy, and their energy is also really suspicious. It's like, what this nigga got up his sleeves? You know? So that's a big one that is masculine for me.
That's fair. I will say though, from my perspective, I am a on guard female, and I'm just gonna be honest with you. I am. However, in the same sense, I'm super soft, I'm super loving, I'm extremely nurturing and caring. But it goes back to what I was saying on like, I have to trust a man's judgment. I have to trust him to be able to lead me. So also, I'm being serious. So I think like on the contrary, everybody's always like, oh, Black women, like we have this masculine energy and all this now. But it's also like, how did we get to this point? Because it works both ways.
I agree. I think, you know, it's a bigger conversation than just black women are masculine or black men aren't doing enough. And part of what I try to do is put all those things in context. With that being said, it seems like, you know, when I'm talking to men about all the ways that we drop the ball, or all the ways where, for instance, if I had a conversation with the dude, right, he would probably say, you know what, my personality was trash, or I didn't show enough of my personality, whatever the case may be. But if you watch any of my interviews, whenever I am pushing back against women, there is a sense of, I don't want to believe that. Nobody else has ever challenged me on the way that I move. So like, I don't need to listen to what you're saying. So you end up just going on about your life and being like masculine and being hard in the whole nine. And to your point, I think the issue that we have now is a lot of our women are using their femininity as like a carrot. It's like, if you do this, and this, if you do this, and this, then I'll give it to you, which makes us feel like you really don't want to give it to us. And it's not really you. It's an act. It's a facade.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, because tell me if this is what you mean by this. Because, for instance, I'm gonna be honest. At this point in my life, this might sound bad.
Tell the truth.
But I'm just not, and because I've been this girl before, I feel like I have been somebody who, because naturally I'm a giver, like naturally I'm a really loving person. So I found myself in situations to where like I may give too much, or I feel like I may love too much, and it may come back and bite me in my ass. And sometimes I feel like I'm giving out more than what I'm receiving. So now at this point in my life, if you want me to cook, clean, fold some laundry, I need to see what's up with you first. You know what I mean? Like, are you somebody that I can trust? Would you go out of your way for me? And that's not even to say that like I mean, I guess in the sense I am saying, yeah, you have to prove yourself. But for me, it's more so like a reciprocity situation, a give and take, because you have to have both. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but I'm afraid that it might become a scorekeeping situation. I bought you a Birkin bag. Now you got to do this for me, or I did that.
But it doesn't even have to be in that sense. It can be something so small to like, I'm showing up to your house and I have your favorite candy because I listen to you talk.
But my thing is, if you're naturally that person, right? If you're naturally, for instance, a masculine person, should you hide some of that until they do whatever? Or should you just be yourself and be giving and be protective and be a handyman and the whole nine? Or do you feel like, oh, she got to show me before I do this?
Do you operate like that?
I'm masculine 24/7. I don't, it's not a carrot to me. I don't use it as a reward. And I feel like if I did, it wouldn't be real.
I feel that.
You feel what I'm saying? So like, as an example.
I wouldn't necessarily say though that means that when I do give it, it's not genuine. Maybe I'm just guarded.
Well, so the example I would give is, right, you got two people. They both can cook, right?
Okay.
Person A, she cooks all the time. You know, she probably got food on the stove right now. Person B, she only cooks on special occasions, right? Or she only cooks when she feels loved or whatever the case may be. Who do you feel like would be a better cook?
Probably person A.
That's right. That's all dudes are saying. Dudes are saying, like, listen, if you're just naturally a masculine person, you'll be masculine all the time. If you're naturally a feminine person, because then it's not a reward for good behavior, it's just who you are. Now, if the other person trivializes that and plays with it, then you got to take your business elsewhere, but you don't feel like you lost anything, right? I feel like the problem these days is like motherfuckers move like I'm gonna play you before you play me, or I'm gonna protect as much of my stuff as I can in case you play me. And you just kind of set yourself up to get played.
Yes, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
I'm
not even gonna give you a rebuttal on that. But I feel like it's hard when people feel like they have gone through certain situations. And because I see it all the time, even just like talking to my friends and stuff, you know what I mean? And it
Mhm.
sucks, but it makes you lose trust in people.
You know what's scary to
It
me?
does. It really does.
What's scary to me is that these days a lot of it is secondhand, if we're being honest. And what I mean by that, I spoke at a school. I can't mention the school. I might tell you later, but I spoke at a school a while back, and these girls were 20, 21, 22, and they have the same niggas ain't shit persona and perspective on stuff. Now, I start asking them questions, and come to find out, which blew my mind, both of their parents are in the home. Their dad is a relatively good dude, but again, the culture of niggas ain't shit infected them as well. So a lot of like the stuff that we're spewing and regurgitating, oh, niggas do this, niggas do that, sometimes it didn't actually happen to me, but it happened to a friend of mine, or it happened on a movie that I saw, and now I'm regurgitating it. But unfortunately, what happens is you end up attracting that energy to yourself. So like, how do our girls, because I have two sisters, right?
Yeah.
How do our girls get off this train of expecting the worst and maybe start expecting better and making themselves attractive to men who are not the worst? What would your advice be to
You have, honestly, you have to make that choice for yourself, that's what you want. You do. You really do. Because I'm just going to be honest with you, in our culture nowadays, it's cool to be like, that's what the city girls is. You know what I mean?
on, yep.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it is. It's cool. It's fun. Like, you know, now I'm hanging out the window with my ratchet ass friends. Let's go. Like, you know, like the nigga free song and stuff.
Right.
You just have to make the choice that that's what you want for yourself. And when you decide that that's what you want for yourself and you put that out in the universe, that's what you're going to attract, because that's what you were going for. You know what I mean?
Why would women make that change? Like what typically pushes women to make that change? Because just like you said, it's popular.
It is popular. But again, you have to want it for yourself. So something shifts inside of you to where you're like, I want better. I deserve better. I want to live better.
So let's talk about this, right?
Yeah.
Kevin Samuels.
Oh, God.
R.I.P. R.I.P. the GOAT. But one of the things that he was critical about, he says that, you know, a lot of women get to that point when their sexual marketplace value is at its lowest, right? So when they can no longer attract those really high quality men, that's when they realize, oh, I don't want to be a city girl. I don't want to be a hot girl. I don't want to be in these streets. So how do we prevent our women from getting to that realization when it's too late? Or do you feel like it's never too late?
This is an interesting question. Because, I mean, I had somebody trying to preach to me. She kept being like, oh, I'm older than you. Your dating pool goes down. And I'm going to keep it a buck. I'm still 23, so I can't relate to that. So I don't know nothing about it.
Right.
And that's just the truth.
Mm.
However, and let's just put myself back in a situation, you can't be mad at me or try to hold me accountable because you felt like you should have did something different. I never said that I didn't want that. Now, to answer your question, I just think as a community and, you know, the adults, because we are now the adults, we have to do a better job of setting better examples for sure. Because that's the only way it is going to change. Otherwise, we're going to stay in this vicious cycle. Because I'm going to be honest with you, we are in a gender war within the Black community for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to have to start somewhere. So in order people naturally imitate what they feel like they see all the time and what is cool. So I think if we start putting that out there again, or if the Black family is appreciated and all these things, then I definitely think it would take a turn for better, for sure.
So one of the interviews I did, the young lady, and this kind of like took me back. She said that she enjoyed being sad. Like she said, you know,
Not funny, but
yeah, no, like she. I think we were talking about Jasmine Sullivan, and she was saying like she looks forward to Jasmine Sullivan's next album, or whenever. What's the white girl who just lost a bunch of weight? The British girl.
Adele.
Adele, yeah. Whenever Adele drops a heartbreak song, like she looks forward to that. Even if like her life is going good, like she looks forward to being at work and waiting to get home to like cry, right? So like there's almost like a demand for misery. So number one, does that resonate with you at all? And then number two, like why is that type of energy so attractive?
First of all, no, that does not resonate with me at all because I don't want to be sad ever. I don't think, honestly, to me, that's kind of alarming.
Mm-hmm.
But it's alarming. But maybe I shouldn't even say that I'm that surprised about it because I do feel, was she Black?
Yeah.
I feel like within our culture, like, that's what's celebrated, being toxic.
Mm-hmm.
Even down to the men, you know what I mean? And
right.
like rappers and like how they talk about Black women. You know what I mean? So it's just
but honestly, I'm saying like why is that? Because even like when we talk about, oh, this rapper is like he's misogynistic or he calling women bitches and hoes and the whole nine. When you go to their concert, it's full of Black women. When you look at the streaming numbers, it's Black women.
Yeah, and it's
so like, how does that like make sense for us?
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. But I guess, I mean, maybe they feel like it's just a persona. I don't know, but I cannot answer your question on the whole, the being sad thing, because I literally just does not resonate with me. I mean, I'm somebody who, I will say this, I appreciate all music because I am a dancer. So naturally I'm an artistic person. So I listen to everything, but I don't look forward listening to something that makes me sad. I think
it's not necessarily the sadness as much as I think it's more so the emotional roller coaster. I think like right now, happiness is boring. So people just want to feel a bunch of shit. And especially our women.
Yeah, so maybe they feel like, I think a lot of times we have the misconception that if you're in a toxic relationship and you're on a constant roller coaster ride,
it's exciting.
It's exciting. That is what is exciting.
It's provocative. Yeah.
Yeah, it's spontaneous. It's spicy. So I think in a lot of Black women and a lot of young Black women, that's what they deem as fun.
How did we get here?
How do you think?
Because I think that's one of the main critiques.
That is one of the main
core that you're receiving. Because people are like, oh, she probably wants Future. She probably wants a street dude or whatever. Like, so how do we get there?
Honestly, I don't know. I just feel like it's literally because it's celebrated. It's what's cool. And I think that that's very interesting too, because I started clapping back at people. I'm not going to lie. I'm like, I think it's so interesting that automatically I want a Future or I want a this or I want a that, just because I said I feel like he didn't have no personality, which honestly, by the way, that's not what I meant by that at all. Like, I meant, yeah, you a scientist, but like, can we go to the strip club together and have some fun? Can we go to the bar? Like, you know what I mean? Like, go race go-karts. Can we go skydiving? Can we travel? Like, to me, that's what I meant by that. But because I feel like that's where we are right now within our community and within this day and time, automatically, I feel like my headline just literally it was the perfect headline to play into that debate.
Sure. Well, I think, to try to translate, I think, past the angle, what some people are saying is that it seems like our women would rather look past the bum exterior and see a potential nuclear physicist than look past the nuclear physicist exterior and see a potential fun guy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, you know, because at the end of the day, we end up kind of projecting our expectations of people. So, you know, this dude, he plays 2K every day, but I think he could be a doctor. So in my mind, he's a doctor, right?
Yeah.
And it's like it's easier to be delusional in that way than to think maybe Russell has a personality. Maybe the dude that you're on the show with has a personality. So like, why are we defaulting to showing more grace to bums than nuclear physicists? Because it's still grace, right?
Yeah. Because I would just keep it a buck, and I'm probably gonna get it, but I don't care because the girls ain't have my back, so I ain't got that back.
Listen, it's
But
so we here.
I'm gonna be honest. It's because they're not used to shit, and that's because their standard and what they like is they like being on a roller coaster ride. So again, how dare I look past somebody that has a good job or has a good salary? Because so many women want that because they feel like they settled or they are settling for a man in their eyes who is a bum. So because a lot of them did that, I can't have the luxury to have both. Of a man that has a good job and who I feel like fits what I need in my life to have fun.
So what do you prioritize? The fun or the other like solid things? When you're looking at a dude, like what's the first thing that he must check, and then we move on to the next thing?
Both. He checked my first box, which is why I kept talking to him.
Okay.
You need to have stability, but again, it goes past that.
So okay, let me put it like this. Guy A is boring, but he's a solid dude.
Okay.
Guy B is entertaining, but he's a bum. Which guy are you choosing? If you only have those two options.
I'm gonna choose A.
Okay, so you're prioritizing the solid in the whole nine. Okay.
I'm for sure I'm gonna choose A. But I'm gonna be honest here, and I haven't said this yet.
Okay.
It's not like I was looking to be in love with the man for real. Like it was pure entertainment for me. I was not looking for real love on that dating show.
So you feel like it would have gone different if you were?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
on top of that, and I'm gonna be honest with you too, he definitely was nervous. We probably would have had a totally different conversation offline. And then also a lot of people didn't even watch the whole clip because if they did watch, he literally called back in and he was trolling. Like,
what did he say?
I don't even remember. He was just talking shit. He was just like, y'all, it's not that serious. And then he like little like peace signs and stuff. And we like talked a little bit more then, but it was like, it was never that deep, like
that deep
at all.
So like, okay.
But but in the same token, because I see what you're saying. People were saying that too. Like I literally saw a comment and was like, oh, if you would have gave him a little fade, he would have been gold. But to me also, I kind of think that's a little crazy.
Say more.
Like they were basically saying like when they said fade, they mean like a haircut. They were like, if you just would have
okay.
gave him like a little Tim fade, and if you would have this and that, he would have been gold. Like you could have gave him some swag. But also at the same time, this is also my other thing too.
But his looks weren't the problem. It wasn't the problem. It was, you said it was the personality.
Yeah, I thought he was cute. I just literally wanted him to tell me more about himself. I also feel like, but the fact that people were even saying shit like that to me was also crazy because how you know this man want to wear a fade? Like, who am I to even change his opinion? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Like, is that not concerning? And on top of that, who said I wanted to take on a project? So if I decided in life that I wanted to wait until I felt like I found a man that checked all of my boxes, why is that so absurd? But you want to know why that's so absurd and why it was so foreign to a lot of women? Because I guess it is unheard of in the Black community, or I won't say unheard of. I guess that is deemed as rare.
To get a guy who checks all your boxes?
Yeah, or people feel like you can't have both.
I think, and I think this is the point that the dude from Cruise Season was making. It's like the reality of the numbers out here. It's not what a lot of women think it is. And like I said, I have sisters. One of my sisters is 22. The other one is 27.
Yeah.
And trust me, they're both delusional. They think they're gonna get this apex dude. And I'm like, have you done the math? Like, how many men are over this height? How many men make over this money, this amount of money? How many men are this charismatic, this well dressed, this well spoken, the whole nine? So I think the older women, maybe their pushback is that they've gotten to the point where they have to deal with the numbers. But you're so young where it's like, not really, because you still, you know what I'm saying, you're still the hot thing and people still checking for you, people in your DMs and the whole nine. So like, is there any wisdom in what they're saying from your perspective?
I mean, I guess so. Yeah, because they feel like, I mean, they've lived longer, so they probably have seen more or experienced more in their regards. But I'm gonna be honest with you too, because let me put the women on game for a second, right?
Okay, put the women on game.
A lot of dating is the environment you put yourself in. So if I want, wait, where'd you go?
I'm still here. I just want to, you know what I'm saying? It's you. Go ahead.
I'm gonna put y'all on game. So like, if you want a man that you feel like got some swagger and he a grown man, you can trust his judgment, he on his shit, he might have a few businesses, then you take your ass to the Four Seasons and you sit at the bar. You don't go looking for the man in the club, because at that point, that man is just a good time. And people, just like how people have friends, they talk about social circle, like, yeah, you date in a freaking social circle too. So put yourself in an environment to where you can come across better men. Like, it's not rocket science, y'all. I'm just saying. That's why people act like it's so impossible, and it's just really not. Like, you're just trying to date the wrong man.
So that's facts. That's facts.
For real. Like,
no, that's facts. But one of the, you know what I'm saying, one of the things we talk about here is that I don't think our women find it hard to attract men, right? I don't think that's the problem. I think, you know, if you're a good looking woman.
Quality men, because
yeah, quality men.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. Yes, they do, from the backlash I received.
Okay, talk to me.
They do. They literally, because they were basically saying, literally, all the backlash that I received was literally, it was basically, even the headlines, woman rejects a nuclear physicist. So that translated to, woman rejects a good man because he's educated and he has a good job. So literally, all the women coming at me, again, they're like, how dare you? He is an educated Black man. But what I'm saying is, if you put yourself in the right environment to date those kind of men, they don't come a dime a dozen. A dime a dozen.
They do, though.
I'm like,
they do, though.
Well, yeah, I'm saying, I mean, that's what I mean. They do come a dime a dozen. Like, I'm saying, they act like it's just so rare. And I'm like,
no, I'm saying it's rare. It's rare.
Is it?
It's really rare.
Maybe I'm oblivious, because I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I feel like I've dated some successful men.
Okay, so let me ask you that. What percentage of men, just in the country, not even Black men, you think make six figures?
Oh.
Just guess a number.
Guess a number? I would say maybe below 50%.
But give me a number, like 30, 40.
47?
10.
10?
10%.
Damn.
And that's the thing about social media. It makes you think that, you know, people out here balling more than they are. Like, not that many people. And now, if you get more specific to Black men, it's even less. If you get more specific to Black men who are millennials, because a lot of people who make money are older, right? It's even less. Now, Gen Z, because you're Gen Z, it's even less, right? So, but I don't think the problem is attracting these men. I think the problem is keeping these men. That's what I've been critical about, because our women are sexy. I think our women are the most gorgeous women on the planet. But the problem that they're having is that because of some of the things we discussed earlier, the masculine trait and the disposition and the whole nine, the trauma, the problem is retention, not attention. Y'all could step into the club, sit at the bar, the whole nine, and get men, but it's about keeping those men. Matter of fact, one of the comments that I got under my video was actually a Hispanic dude.
Okay.
And he was telling me about how he used to date a black girl, and she was the most gorgeous girl he ever dated. She had a body, she had a face, she had the whole nine, gorgeous skin, the whole nine. But she was very, the way he put it was like she got turned on by play fighting. Like she liked turmoil. She liked, I don't know if you've seen that meme. I want problems always. Like she liked the back and forth, boom, 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 boom. And he was like, you know, after a while, he had to ask her, like, yo, is this what you're used to? Is this like this chaos? Is that what you're used to? And she kind of denied it. But eventually he moved on. He was like, even though she was fine, the pussy was good, the whole nine, I had to find peace. So I think that's the bigger problem that our women are running into, because they know how to attract the men. It's about keeping them. And I think part of the reason they struggle to keep them is because in their youth, kind of like you are right now, you've never had to really understand men because you could go sit at a bar and get them. Or post a picture and get some DMs.
I'm not going to say that, though, because I know how to keep a man, okay?
Okay.
If I want to keep them. My problem is I get rid of them. I get them up out of there.
Okay, talk about that. Why?
You said why?
Why?
Because at this point in my life, I'm going to be honest with you, because obviously I am 23. So I have had experiences with dating to where I do feel like I've settled in the past, or I mean, I think everybody has had a toxic relationship. So I have had a toxic relationship in the past. I think at this present moment in my life, I'm not negotiating for shit that I want.
What does that mean for you?
It means like, it's going to sound bad because this is going to play into exactly what you're saying. Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
It's going to sound bad because it's going to play into exactly what you're saying, but I'm not negotiating. I feel like I want it all. So if you're not giving me what I feel like what I need emotionally to be dated, again, you having your shit together is a standard. That's the bare minimum. But if I feel like you aren't constantly like pouring into me how I feel like I'm a pour into myself, what's the point? So that's what I mean by I'm not negotiating on what I want for myself.
So what makes you competitive
in the dating world?
Yeah, so like when that dude, that hypothetical dude, does all those things and pours into you in the whole nine, like what is he getting from you that he wouldn't be able to get somewhere else?
I'm gonna say this. I think I have balance about myself.
Okay, explain.
So I'm hardworking. I'm driven. I have business about myself, but at the same time, I also know how to be feminine and nurturing and be a woman and be submissive when it comes to my man. I even think a lot of times as women, men feel like they can't talk to us. So I literally know how to be a partner. You know what I mean? I know how to just listen and be a safe space for the man that I'm in a relationship in. I genuinely will say this. I am the kind of female, I will literally give a man the shirt off of my back. For sure. I will, for sure.
But
so like that's what makes me competitive, because at the end of the day, I do understand that no man wants no masculine ass female.
That's true.
That's not, no. And I'm gonna be honest with you, because I do feel like people are gonna be like, I'm gonna turn into a soundbite off of this. This is crazy. Because I do feel like I am such a strong woman. I want to come home and cook and clean and get told what to do. Not in a controlling way, but like, I want to come home and be a woman. I don't want to have to come home and run the show at home either. Like, too. Like, that's too much. I don't want to do that. I have no desire to do that.
So pretty much what you're looking for is a good, and I'm putting it in crass terms, but a good boss.
A good boss.
A good boss.
I feel like if I say yes to that, that's going to sound bad.
But you pretty much just did. So, okay. That's interesting, because a lot of times when I'm asking women, like, what do they want? And like, what are they offering in exchange, right? sometimes it comes off as, I want this, but I'm gonna give you this.
No, I will match energy. I match energy all day.
Mm.
So, I mean, naturally, I'm a good person, but I would say this: like, if you are a good man to me, you damn right I'm gonna cook and clean, and I don't even want to say, if you ask me to jump, I might even say how high. God damn it! Like, if you that nigga, you that nigga.
But I'm saying, are you coming out the gates like that, or is it okay after a 30-day probationary period, then I'll start cooking? Like, are you just being that from the jump, or is there something you're looking for first? Don't just tell me the right answer. Tell me the truth.
I'm not gonna tell you the right answer. I'm about to tell you the truth. I'm about to get real personal for you. Like in the past, I would come out the gate like that, but now not so much. I need to know that it's mutual. And that's not to say that I'm not going to do anything for you, because naturally, like I said, I'm just a loving person, but I'm not going to give you, because one thing I have learned about men, you give a man an inch and he's going to take a mile. So I'm not just going to give you the whole thing up front without me feeling like, because at that point, it's just going to make me crazy, because then you're going to feel like you don't ever have to do anything for me. And it's just going to be given to you. So I need to know that it's going to be some kind of reciprocation before I'm just out here playing wifey. No.
Do you want the dude to come out of the gate with that energy? You want him to come out kind of like you're doing?
I would say let's also have this conversation too, because I have debated about this with some men, and this whole like taking a woman on a date. Like, I have literally heard men be like, I don't take women on dates, and I'm like, that's crazy. What do you mean? How else are y'all supposed to get to know each other? Right. So in the sense of, yes, I expect for you to take me on a date and to pick me up and to open my door and close it and to be a man, to pull my chair out. Like, you would be so surprised at how many men don't do that these days.
You know why?
Because they think they the bad bitches. That's why.
No, that's not why. That's not why.
Why?
Because we see how the Will Smiths get treated. And I think what men are starting to do now is like they're starting to protect themselves, and they feel like, okay, since she's going to come in half-stepping, I'm going to come in half-stepping. Because every dude has also been or not every dude, but some dudes have been the flower getting, door opening, and they get played with. But it seems like when you come in almost like making her work, you get better results. At least that's what dudes are telling me.
The problem is that females and males they are literally thinking the exact same way. That's the problem. That's why it's like a constant headbutt and there's no give.
So who do you feel like should give first?
The man.
Why?
Because like literally, I mean, I don't know if y'all believe in God and stuff, but literally since biblical times, a man leads. Like, to me, it's crazy. And it's crazy for a man to literally sit up there and be like, I'm not taking a woman on a date. Are you serious? That doesn't even make sense. How else are y'all supposed to get to know each other? I don't need a damn texting buddy.
No, I agree with you. I actually agree with you on that. I feel like even though men should take women on dates, I don't think men should take every woman on a date. I feel like men and women need to do more homework, because like I said, men are afraid that we're going to be used for food. Women are afraid you're going to be used for your body or your time, whatever the case may be. Yeah. So I'm saying, instead of like half-stepping with everybody, just spend more time doing your due diligence and figuring out if she's worth a date. Because I'm going to keep it a buck. A lot of women are not worth a date. And not a lot of women, fuck a date, they're not worth your time.
A lot of men's not worth our time.
So how do you assess men? How do you kind of grade and see from jump if he's worth your time? What are the things you look for?
I said this in the last video and I got so much flack for it, but whatever. I will say, I'm going to say this differently. I'm really good at deciphering what's good for me, if that makes sense.
Explain a little bit more.
So, but at the same time, I also will say this, I am extremely picky. So I would say for me, how I assess a man, is he kind? Is he respectful? Does he seem genuine? Because I will also say this, I think I've also had some interesting like dating experiences, because there have been times to where I've dated guys and I feel like they just like the idea of me, like being like, oh, and when I say dating guys, I don't mean relationship, but like, you know, talking to a guy and like trying to go on dates and stuff. But I have literally run into experiences to where like, I was talking to this one guy, I told the story already, but I have been like texting this one guy and he like wanted to hang out and stuff. And he was super cool, but it literally turned into, I'm going out, make sure you bring your teammates.
Your teammates?
Yeah, because I danced for the NBA for 4 years. So like stuff like that.
Oh,
so,
for his friends and stuff.
Yeah, for his friends. But to me, that's weird. Because you were continuously pushing that on me. So it's like, is that even genuine? And just somebody who I feel like is really patient and I feel like really wants to know me for me.
So what do you think people miss? Since, you know, most people see the way you look, they see the dancer. Like, what is something that you feel like they miss?
Honestly, I feel like people, they miss the fact that I am literally a human. And it, again, I would say literally what happened to me in that whole video, because I also feel like I got stereotyped because I do look how I look, honestly. So I feel like people miss the fact that, yeah, I do have depth to me, and that is what I'm looking for.
Explain what that means. Like, when you think of depth, what does that mean for you? Like, you think aliens exist? Like, what are we talking about? It's levels. It's levels.
I like having deep conversations. I'm not gonna hold you. I will debate somebody backwards. I like to read books. I like listening to different music. Even down to the fact of like how I was saying earlier, like, yeah, his accolades are cool, but do you even really know yourself? Do you know what makes you happy? So I think a lot of times people just see me and they're just like, oh, it's just this fine little young girl, so let me just throw some money at her and it's gonna be cool. And it's just like, no, I'm a really cool person. I'm actually not superficial at all. I could care less.
So do you feel like maybe that's what turned you off about it? Like, you felt like he was just another dude trying to impress you with accolades?
Yeah, for sure. I love people who are just themselves.
Got you.
And I'm the kind of person, I don't judge people. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to date everybody, but I respect people who are themselves. Like, I fuck with that. I can respect it. I have such a natural, like, attraction to that. Like, that shit turns me on if I feel like you can just be you.
Okay. So for the other nuclear physicists in the chat or watching this during the replay, what do you feel like they should be learning or taking away from this whole virality?
Not even just them. I think people in general should learn that. First of all, y'all think y'all know so much and y'all don't know anything. That's number one, because I feel like what everybody can take from that is overall, you have to know yourself as an individual, period. Like, accomplishing great things in your life, that's so amazing. I would never take that away from him, like, or anybody for that matter. But that doesn't make you who you are as a person. And
Okay.
I'm gonna go so strong about that, because I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Like I was saying earlier, I feel like I have always been somebody who I accomplish great things, you know what I mean? And again, like I said earlier, I have always held so much value of that, like within myself. There was literally a point in time to where I'll never forget. I had somebody ask me, like, what do you like to do for fun? And I didn't have an answer. Because I didn't know what the fuck I like to do for fun. You want to know why? Because
You worked all the time.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was literally like, I've been a freaking, and not only have I worked all the time, but I have been in interesting positions to where I have always had to be a certain way for the position that I'm in. Like, you know what I mean? And not really get to like actually be myself. So even like when he was saying what he was saying to me, people didn't realize it because I will say this, I definitely looked like a bitch in the clip, like with my facial expressions and stuff. But I was taking it a different way because I was relating like to it on a whole nother personal level. So I feel like when he was talking to me and he was only listing off of his accolades or whatever, I was like, I feel like I saw a bit of myself in what he was doing, if that makes sense. Or like
a version of you didn't like.
Yes. And
okay.
that I had to like navigate through. And that's
interesting.
Yeah, that's a hard revelation to come, like to have or whatever. Like literally I'm 23. I started dancing for the NBA when I was 19 years old. You know what I mean?
Damn.
Literally, when I was 19 years old, I've been a freaking pageant queen. I've always been somebody who's just like, I've excelled in life or whatever. I've accomplished the things that I go after. Like I'm literally 23 and I'm about to open a freaking dance studio. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, yes, those things are amazing, but that's not what's like, I won't even say that doesn't have substance because it does have substance, but that isn't going to make me happy in the long run for me to sustain like a happy life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's going to continue to make me financially stable for me to have the lifestyle that I want. But I also think that goes into play. That's why you have so many celebrities and stuff and they're unhappy because that's surface level shit. People really don't know themselves.
Okay. Would you be cool with people coming up?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So I want to prioritize women actually.
Yeah, I haven't talked to many women, so I'm game for that. Let's talk.
Okay, perfect. Because I know Courtney Michelle is in the back, so I'm gonna drop the link, and I'm gonna prioritize women, I'm gonna prioritize super chats, and I'm gonna prioritize members in that order. So,
okay,
but I drop the link.
Y'all don't get on here being disrespectful because I ain't doing that.
Nah, we don't do that here.
Okay,
we don't do that here. Yeah, that's not my ministry. All right, so I got the link in the chat. I'll be in the background. I'll just moderate y'all's conversation, but I'm interested to know maybe from, other women, what rubbed them the wrong way or what do they agree with, or what do they disagree with? And then with the men, because I try to hit on all the cylinders of what men were feeling, but I feel like I also might have missed something. So y'all pull up.
Let's chat.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. All right, there she is, Miss Courtney Michelle. How you doing, Courtney?
What up? What's going on?
Hey,
how are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good.
I'm good. I'm happy to see you. I will let you run the show, Courtney. So Courtney is another YouTuber. She's the GOAT. But I'll be in the back. I'll just be moderating things. But I want y'all to have a conversation. I think this might be good. Cool?
Oh, Lord. Okay.
All right. I'll be right here.
What is going on? How are you doing? I'm Courtney. It's nice to meet you.
I'm good. I'm Jalea. Nice to meet you.
Good. Lord, I don't know why he got me moderated. Let me turn it up so I can hear you a little bit more. So I guess I wanted to talk maybe a little bit more about the backlash that you were getting with women, which I thought that was interesting. And I know the interview that you did prior to, you kind of made a mention that it was like older women and the baby mamas that was giving you pushback. So tell me a little bit more about that, because that's what I want to maybe dig in a little deeper on.
Oh, it was literally just so many women. And then I also think I was kind of surprised and just like how cruel they were to me, because it definitely was a lot of a lot of older women. So I would say a lot of women that were like later in their 20s, maybe early 30s. I definitely was like going through the comments, and it was definitely like, you know, some single moms and stuff. I literally, like I was telling him earlier, that I had somebody I dialed in on the show or whatever, and this one young lady, she was just telling me, she was just like, well, you know, I'm older than you, and once you're older, like your dating pool goes down. And so, but to me, I think my question was, it was like, okay, so since y'all are coming at me, is that the only thing that you guys prioritize in a relationship?
What do you mean prioritizing relationship?
Like him being a scientist or a physicist? Because a lot of it was, I guess for me, a lot of it was literally just like, oh, she turned him down again. How dare she? Because he is a nuclear physicist.
Okay. So I wanted to discuss that with you because I think it's important. There's a lot of reasons why I think you got a lot of pushback for older women. I am older than you. Okay. Yeah. And I fit that narrative of an older woman. I have a child and I'm not married. And I think the pushback that you were getting from a lot of women was what we were seeing was not necessarily just a job. And let me explain that a little bit. When you get older, life hits you, but those that are wise learn from mistakes. They have incredible insight. And with that insight, for those that can see a woman maybe not necessarily going down their road, but showing attributes of what they did back when they was 20, sometimes like it's a scary movie and we're like, no, baby, we see something in this man, or we see this, and we don't want you to turn out or be like a lot of Black women have become, where in our 20s, we didn't prioritize family, we prioritize work and opening up businesses and traveling the world in our 20s. And then we realized that we don't have time, and that time that we spent focusing on that, it's lost. And then you become 30, 35, and a lot of opportunities that you could have had to establish a family, which other cultures do, we pass it. And then you become like a lot of Black women have become. So I think the backlash wasn't just his job. It's just seeing that you prioritized a lot of what we did. And there's a lot of women that wish they could go back to 23 and understand that maybe the priority should be focused on family while you're still in your prime. And that priority. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. I totally understand that, but I also feel like, again, there was definitely the misconception in that, because what I was saying was, and how I said it, which looking back on it and I'm talking to multiple people, I probably should have explained it a little bit better when I said what I said, but I feel like how I said it was just like so blunt and it wasn't a lot of context to it. But what I was saying was, I wasn't saying that I'm only prioritizing those things for myself. What I was saying is I want a partner to do those things with me who isn't only just talking about his accolades. That's where I was coming from with it. So for me, when he literally was just listing those things off, it's not that I didn't appreciate that. It was, I wanted there to be balance, so there was a happy medium.
Yeah.
But I feel like everybody completely jumped over that, and it was just automatically attack. And then I also feel like, it's about obviously not what you say, but how you say it. And I learned that from the clip, Yeah. Yeah. And so I think for me, it's just like, okay, if y'all be concerned, give some constructive criticism, but they are literally like the things that they were saying about me and how they were talking to me. And it was just like, that's not constructive. So why should I listen to you? And what does that say about you? You feel like you have so much wisdom.
Yeah.
But why should I even listen to you? Because I feel like, I'm going to keep it real with you. My mom would never.
Mm-hmm.
Like, being the age that she is and some of the things that the women were saying about me. So in my head, I'm like, why should I listen to y'all anyways? Half of y'all are jokes, because my mama would never.
Right. Let me put you onto some game. Okay. And this is from an older woman to a younger lady. Okay. I know that you said that it wasn't even 3 minutes, let's say 2.5 minutes of a conversation. And the only thing that he said was, about his job. But I'm here to tell you that man said a lot. And with wisdom and maturity, that's when the listening skills and understanding your role as a woman comes in. So in the clip, he said the first thing he did was had a book in his hand.
Okay.
That off the rip tells you he's well-read and intelligent. So you don't even have to necessarily ask. Off the rip, that man is well-read and he's intelligent. Then what did he say after that? He
said he likes to do martial arts.
Martial arts. That man is a protector because he can whoop some ass if need be. And he's also disciplined. So even in those 2 words, knowing that he didn't even have to say that he was intelligent or well-read. He had the book. He does martial arts. That means he's a disciplined man. These are attributes that I think a lot of men have. And I think they get frustrated when a lot of women are just overlooking because they're just saying, yeah, I work here, but not looking in between the lines because they're not saying it with so much enthusiasm. But again, with wisdom, with maturity, we're able to, as older women, kind of look in the lines and be like, no, baby, he's disciplined. He's well-read. He has an amazing job. So he's a provider, a protector and a provider. The number one thing that you need to look for a mate. What else did that man say?
And then after that, he told me he made a 97 on his test.
Intelligent, in the Army,
yeah,
benefits, taking care. It's like, I think it's, do you see what I'm trying to say? He didn't have to say much to let you know in 2 minutes. A provider, protector, intelligent, well-read, disciplined. And now he's about to travel the world.
And also, because a lot of people watched the clip too, I definitely expressed in the beginning, I was like, yeah, I don't really want a long distance relationship. I don't want these things. I said that. So also, if you're getting shipped off to basic training, that's not going to work for me right now. So yes, I didn't say, it's not the fact that obviously, yes, he's disciplined. If you're doing martial, he's obviously disciplined. He's going in the military. That's number one. Anybody has to be for that. But I think for me, the main thing, I guess in my head, because I didn't acknowledge those things, I guess how everybody wanted me to acknowledge them. It's like, that is awesome. But what I need in my life is a balance of both. And I don't feel like I should have received backlash for wanting what I want.
Well, it's not I understand the back. Trust me, if anybody knows about comments, I get it. Right? Welcome. But it's not seeing, I don't want to say train wreck, but seeing something that deserved more than a pineapple. Now, if you wasn't serious at all, I know, and I didn't know that she invited you up and it was just for play, that context absolutely matters.
Yeah.
But taking that out and just as someone seeing, and especially being in a space where men are like, I want to be a good man to a Black woman, but they're not seeing us like that. They're passing us by for personalities, which I'm going to be honest with you. When you get older, personality don't protect you. And it's not that I want both, but reality is everybody don't get 100% of everything. Any man that is going to be with you, they're not going to get 100% of everything because you're imperfect. We're all imperfect. So it's about what on the list makes a good man. So
yeah,
what would you think would be the top 4? I'm just curious.
First and foremost, a man that is a provider, because that's what a man is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? A man is a provider. He has to be compassionate, honest. Oh, I would say faithful, but I feel like that should be a given. Mm-hmm. So I would say a provider, compassionate, honest. and caring.
And personality.
I mean,
ain't
that
in
is,
there.
but let's be honest. Let's be honest. A job description is not a personality trait. It's not. It's not. It is not.
So
So
you know,
I feel like the reality of it is like those things are important, and I never said those things weren't important. But for me, what I feel like I need in my life is both. So I don't think there was anything wrong, maybe with how I worded it, yes, but I don't think there was anything wrong with me looking for an answer of maybe you're talking about your music interest or what kind of dates you like to go on. Because at the end of the day, I'm not only dating your resume. I feel like, and that wasn't me saying that I didn't appreciate those things or he didn't have those qualities. I think that what he does is amazing. I think, like you said, but maybe he just wasn't the right guy for me. And I also think that that is okay. I think a lot of times, like people say things that they think are right, or that even like the other women are like, okay, but I also know people who are miserable and they feel like that they man just check their boxes, but they aren't meeting their needs in other ways. Does that make sense? So I think I understand what you're saying about how maybe not everybody is going to check everything and you have to work, but I don't feel like that's impossible. Again, nobody is perfect. Every relationship has its problems and stuff like that or whatever, but I also think it is possible to have a good balance of both.
And I think a lot of us, particularly Black women, think that it's possible to have it all. I think we think that it's possible for us to be swept off our feet and have a fairy tale life. You're wanting it all.
I feel like white women think the same thing. I think the problem with Black women is we don't think we can have that.
Well, I think that the difference between white women and Black women is that white women don't go off or will dismiss a man because he didn't show personality in 2 minutes.
I also don't think that that's a fair statement, and I'm gonna tell you.
Okay,
why.
tell me why.
Because that's what the show was. I was saying earlier at the end of the day. Now, if I was just like on a date with him, myself, we probably would have had a totally different outcome. But I'm on a speed dating show to where I'm talking to multiple people, so I'm making decisions like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I think for me, that's that. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think I have a ton of white female best friends. So I feel like I see definitely both perspectives.
Do you see them getting married before Black women?
Some of them, yes. But I would say I have a ton of white female friends and best friends right now who aren't married.
Are you wanting to be a wife?
Yeah, I want to be married when it makes sense. When it makes sense for me, and I feel like it's with somebody who I feel like fits the pieces into my life as well, and we balance each other out. But I will say this: I'm not just gonna sit up here and marry somebody just because I feel like, oh, they have a good job.
Yeah. So again, with that gentleman, I think that he exposed a lot of stuff about him within 2 minutes, and with active listening, I think it was shown. Again, like I said, with the discipline, he even came back on the show.
I appreciate the fact that you came back on there. I mean,
that's all the comments, right?
What'd you say?
He saw the comments, and so he called back in the show to check the comments for you. Even though you dissed that man, he came back. And again, we talked about being compassionate. So him even coming back, checking the comments. For me, I was like, wow, because he didn't have to do that. So that's compassion. Again, it was hard to watch because I was like, girl, at least get that man your number or something. Give him a little call. Because we're seeing these attributes.
I'm gonna be honest with you, though. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't give nobody my number. I didn't talk to nobody from that. because I'm being dead ass serious. Because the truth is, I was not looking to date somebody off of a freaking speed dating show.
You never know.
You're right, and so maybe
no.
So maybe I shouldn't have counted out. But honestly, like, and this is just me being so transparent. It was totally like shits and giggles for me. I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna go on a show and seriously date somebody on a speed dating show.
Why not? Okay, let that have been Michael B. Jordan coming up. I'm talking about, I'm free, baby. What's up? Really?
I didn't see him in person. He's definitely fine. But I'm gonna say this though too, because I had somebody touch on this because they were like, oh, if they were probably famous or something. I don't necessarily feel like that's always the answer either.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well,
I don't
know. I like I said, as far as an older woman, and I just want to speak about, because I know that you said about the older women kind of like checking you and being mad and maybe saying some stuff that was uncouth. But yeah, it is when we've been 23 before, but you haven't been 39 before. And so when we see a thing and we see a beautiful Black woman that has all the opportunities in the world, and when we hear her say some things that we also said when we were back in our 20s and thought that we have time, and I'm just here to tell you the biggest lie that anyone can tell you as a Black woman, a woman in general, is that you have time. That eventually I'm going to have a man. Eventually he's going to come. Eventually God will bring him. For a lot of us, that eventually waits and it waits. And the older that you get, it's the less opportunities that you have.
Can I ask you a question? Why do you feel like that is? Because I keep hearing people say that. So what about it that makes you feel like you don't have as many opportunities?
Well, first, being fertile. So let's keep it honest. A man wants legacy. A man wants to have a family. The older that you get, the less you're able to reproduce. So let's just say you do everything, travel the world, and here you're 30. And now you're like, okay, now it's time for me to get a man. Now you got to vet in the process and the dating. But these men are also having younger women that are able to give them more children. So the older that you get, by 35, baby, them eggs is about to be dust. And when you hit 40, it's like, so you don't have this span of time. And time goes by so quick.
Time definitely does go by fast.
And let me tell you, when I go back to my reunions, my 10-year, 15-year reunions, beauty fades as well too.
Oh yeah,
your metabolism. What'd you say?
I said for sure.
Yeah. So your metabolism will slow down. So that cellulite. So as women, men is opposite. Usually men get a little better in time. They get better jobs, better assets, better benefits. They get the little old distinguished look. It's opposite for us. So now is your time. And I think when we're just like, don't pass up your time like a lot of us have. And when we see someone that might have potential, that seems to be interested in it, now, he came back up, and then that man said something about Jesus. Now, I love my Lord. But that within itself showed that man had some kind of morale. So it was like, what else? The man is disciplined, well-read, well-traveled.
But that was after the fact of what I said.
He came back up. You could have been like, you know what, baby, I made a little mistake.
But again, honestly, I feel like the biggest problem is I didn't take it seriously at all.
Right. And you know what?
And honestly,
I'm gonna tell you this because I've been thinking about this a lot.
Yeah.
When you're in this space, you hear a lot of Black men will say, women don't take accountability. Who's going to hold us accountable? And I'm here to say a lot of us lack maturity. a lot of us don't take things serious and we fun and thinking that, again, it's the time. And so the lack of maturity, and it doesn't even have to do with even your age, because there's women my age, 40 plus, 50 plus, that still act the same way as they did back in the day. I can't tell you how many videos I see of 60-year-olds twerking. But that mentality that not willing to grow and become a woman and understand that as a woman, you don't want to walk this world, be in this world, do this thing by yourself. And
and I'm gonna be honest, I don't want to. And when I say I wasn't taking it seriously, just me personally for myself, I did not, nor do I still do. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, maybe I should never say never. See myself getting in a relationship off of a speed dating show. That's what I'm saying. I mean,
but if you're the one, does it matter?
But I'm not gonna know if you're the one from a speed dating show.
Well, you could if you would have gave him a chance.
But he was also leaving, and I made myself very clear I don't want no long distance relationship.
Well, that man was coming back, and with his job and benefits, could have moved you anywhere in the world.
But who said I wanted to move?
Well, who said he couldn't move to you? He doesn't have any kids or anything holding him back.
Not if he's in the military.
There's different military bases that people could move to.
I mean, they can, but is that always guaranteed? No.
You never know.
So that's also like
the thing that you do know is that could have been something, could have been a spark.
Now, I will say this. I could have asked him additional questions for sure. I could have definitely asked him additional questions. But I also don't feel like just because everybody else feels like that's what they felt like would have been good for me is necessarily what was what's best for me. And I'm standing beside that.
So let me ask you a question, because what percent do you think of Black women that are married?
I don't know. Maybe like Black women in particular, I would say maybe like 40%. But before even going on this topic though, I also think for me, my parents are married and I see them doing the whole nine. Like they have fun. My dad's an engineer, my mom's a nurse, you know what I mean? And they still also have like that fun aspect and they still have that balance. And my dad is a provider and he is all those things. So for me, I don't feel like me saying I can have it all is far-fetched because I literally have an example of it in front of my face.
Okay. Well, I think a couple of years ago, it was reported that 30% of Black folks are married and 40% of Black women are not married. And when I was your age, it was 42%. So it's increasingly going up as far as Black women not getting married. And what's also paralleling that is the age that we decide to marry. So the older that we're waiting, the less that we're getting married. And again, with older women, we're trying to tell you age is important. With white women, Asian women, and Hispanic women, they're married more as far as percentage, more than us, but they marry early.
Yeah.
They marry, usually the average age is 26, 27. Black women is 32, 33. So it's a 4 to 5 year difference. We're losing it when it comes to those women because we're not taking it serious. And with your parents, and I'll say this and I'll let some other people go. I just wanted to give you some old lady wisdom. I think, well, this is what I know, is we look for men to match us, meaning we want to be equal to. And you talked about Sierra and Russell Wilson, and he is the head and she's the neck. It's about you as a woman being his helpmate. If she's his neck, she's helping him. If that man didn't have something or was lacking something, that's where you come in and you shine. Exactly. You help him, but that's what you bring to the table. It's not your career. And I'm telling you this because men will tell you this too. You looking at thousands now are watching you. What you bring to the table is what can make that man better, to be his helpmate, not being or having just as good of a job or being balanced, because no man cares about that. That personality that he could have lacked, you dads, you spoke, you could have put a little oomph in it, something that man probably could have needed and made you different. And not one of the same that probably got dismissed because he didn't have the je ne sais quoi. So I guess I'm not ever gonna bash you because it's not that type of party. But older women, I think, were in your comments because we see a thing and we know a thing and we have insight, and it comes from wisdom and experience. And 23 goes by fast. And what men also see, and your husband could have been watching it might not worked, but what men are also seeing is your insight. The inability to see a good man or a good qualities that could have been. A good man see that and be like, man, she can't even tell that was a good man. Well, she can't tell it, then I know she can't take care of it.
That's interesting.
So think about that. It's being able to know a thing, and that's insight. But with insight and wisdom, it's maturity. And I think a lot of us lack maturity. We still are wanting to kick it and have fun and do all these things and put family on the back burner. And I think it should be opposite. Family is first. So
I respect what you're saying, but I also think I understand what you're saying. I respect what you're saying, but I still feel like you can have both. And that's just how I feel about it.
well,
I don't feel like I said, I think how I came off in the video, I totally see how people were like, oh, she can, like you said, she can't see a good man and all this other stuff. But I never said that. I literally, again, just wanted him to tell me more personal stuff about himself too. And I think it could have been, I could have contributed to that more. Like I said, I could have asked more questions. I could have been more welcoming. My body language could have been better. But I was looking for him to say something specific and he didn't say it. And then also, in addition to that, I wasn't taking being on a speed
on the
date
show serious. Yeah.
I just would, and that's just the truth. But I don't think that means that I'm not looking to get married right now, or I'm not looking for something serious, or that I'm just trying to put my career first and put it on the back burner. No, I would love to be in a serious relationship and stuff right now. But that platform is not what I was looking for on. And that's just, I'm just being honest.
Well, I hear you, but I would say you never know what God has for you, and you never know. I always believe that things just don't happen.
Yeah, and I totally. I'm sorry to cut you off. And somebody asked me, they were like, "Would you go on another date with him?" And I'm like, "Yeah," because honestly, that's an uncomfortable situation, like to be on a live stream with thousands of people watching you. So I'm sure he was nervous, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I wasn't taking it seriously. So I'm like, okay, whatever. But yeah, I told Melly and I told somebody else that I would be open to it. Now, would I broadcast it? Probably not. But
no. They already in your life a little too much.
Yeah, too much. I'm like, everybody feels like they know me now. And I'm like, y'all don't know me at all.
Yeah. So, well, this is the thing. Don't be so caught up in the package of personality and things like that, because you got to get to know someone, and someone also has to get comfortable enough to let themselves go. And a lot of men are scared to do that, or don't want to do that, or don't trust to do that. But the writings was on the wall in those 2 minutes, and the fact that man came back up to protect you. And I forgot, the man said he lived in Woodland Hills in Texas.
Yeah.
Okay, so even that area is well to do. So that means that he got, maybe, I don't know, but kind of like listening. It was like his family seems to be of good stock. And this is all, again, that the old biddies is trying to tell the young ladies. Sometimes get out of your own way and we can be our own worst enemy. And just seemed like there was potential there, and he was handsome. And we was just like, what else did she want?
Yeah, he was.
That's all right. You pass him up. I'm a cougar. So that's fine. Because I know and I see. I made the mistakes that you about to make, and I'm trying to tell you don't make them. But that's all right. I'll be cleanup woman.
I am crying. Well, yeah, girl. Then be a cougar. No, but seriously, I really, honestly, I did think he was sweet, and I did think he was cute. Because somebody asked me, I was like, no, because there was, some people, I was telling everybody, like, I didn't have to talk to him. It was some people where I was like, immediately like, oh, hell no, pineapples.
Yeah.
So, and then I do think that, like I was saying earlier, it probably is because he was nervous, but I do feel like he's somewhere like confident.
Yeah. Well, I don't, being laid back or kind of chill within 2 minutes, I don't, from what he told me that he does, and even martial arts, that art within itself builds confidence. And it's discipline.
So can I ask you this?
Yes.
Because now I understand, I totally 100% understand why he led with his career, as he should have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that does show that he has stability. And again, like we were saying, that a man is a provider.
Right.
When I was like touching on the fact or speaking on the fact earlier that I'm like, okay, well then, do you also know yourself outside of your accolades? Like, what do you think about that?
What do you mean? What does he know?
Like,
does he supposed to know?
Like, does he know himself? Does he know what makes him happy? Does he know what he likes to do for fun? Or do we feel like those things don't matter?
Well, I think those are extra stuff, which, getting to know a man. But
extra
a lot of
is that I feel like that's an essential of a relationship working. You have to know yourself before you can be in any kind of relationship.
Well, I think those words sound good, but in reality, knowing yourself means, you're here, you're in Atlanta. You are a woman, you are Black. What else do you need to know about yourself? What else does he need to know about himself? If he knows that he wants to be a provider, which majority of men want to, and majority of men wants to take care of their family, that's them. A lot of men's identity and who they are is showcased on their career. It's showcased on how they take, their career is important and the travel is important. That's who men are. They're not here trying to show you a juke and a jive. Like that's
not what I mean by that though.
Okay, a real serious man that's about his business, that's who he is.
That's not the only thing that's to him.
That's the only thing that you, but what else, what do you want from a man?
That's not the only thing to any person.
What's it? Well, you tell me, who are you?
Who am I?
Yeah. What makes you you?
What makes me you? What makes me me?
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this. What makes me me is I love my family. I love my friends. I love to have fun. I like to go shopping. I'm caring. I'm compassionate. I'm patient. I'm kind. My job description is I'm an NBA dancer. I'm a dance studio owner. That's not all of who I am. Like, but I just feel like there's layers to a person. So for me, regardless of that, I just feel like that's extremely superficial to only say that the only thing to a man is his career. Well, do I know what I need in a relationship? I need to be courted.
Okay.
I need to be with somebody who I feel like I can learn things from. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I just feel like.
So let me say this. A lot of men's identity comes from their career because they put blood, sweat, and tears in it. And we as women think that men should be on this journey of finding who they are, which men are not that complicated. They know who they are and they know what they want. So, I love family and friends. Who don't?
I'm like,
so those are just kind of basic things, but a man is not.
Are you emotionally stable? Because that's another conversation.
Well, if he's a leader and he's, again, talking about the guy, which showed some stability of him having an amazing job, discipline, knowing where he's going, that shows stability. And then we put too much fireworks and wanting a man to be all this that we are, and they're not.
That shows stability with him providing. But are you emotionally stable?
What does that mean?
Exactly.
They're not that emotional like that.
I know plenty of men who have successful careers and they're still miserable.
What does emotionally
stable?
Are you they're not crazy?
Are you emotionally available?
Men don't talk that way.
But those are real questions that you need to know about somebody. If you are,
I don't even know. Emotionally, meaning are they open to a relationship with you or giving their heart, being vulnerable? Like those are emotions.
Yes.
Right. And I think a man wants to. What scares them off or doesn't want them to be open, I think, is when women are easily surpassing a good guy or looking for other stuff. And a man is trying to tell you, this is what I am. This is who I am. And if you rock with me and let me lead, then that's some of the stuff that you will get from me. But being open, I don't think a man has a problem with that. The problem is finding a woman that would allow him to be open.
I think that's interesting.
Well, I think we make men harder than they have to be. And because we put our wants and needs on them, and we're the emotional creatures. Men are more logical. They're thinking.
They are logical, but regardless, there is still something more than a career that makes somebody them. And you still have to understand yourself and understand what you need and what makes you happy for a relationship to work. If anybody says otherwise, that is so not true.
Well, happiness.
We were just having this conversation too. I'm like, just how women feel like we have needs and what they feel like a man is. Men feel like that females need to have certain qualities about themselves for them to be in a relationship and for things to work. And that goes way beyond of the job he does or what they feel like they need in a relationship to make them happy.
I think we put a lot of feelings and emotion. I mean, what you won't hear is a man to come up and he'll tell you, you know what, I feel like this and I feel this, I feel that. Men don't even talk that way. They know. And they know what they want. And again, I think it's like a movie when we are always thinking of, I need to find myself and who am I and all this, what makes me happy. That thing changes. Happiness is a fleeting feeling. So even if you find something that's going to make you happy, with a man, when he hears that, that's not sustainable. Because what makes you happy now at 23 is not going to make you happy at 28.
But it can be something as simple as literally and probably reading books makes him happy. It does not have to be this big, grand, extravagant gesture. That is what makes it magical. But even things down to that simple, like, do you know yourself? Do you know what you like to do? Do you know what makes you happy? Like, it can literally be as simple as, I like to wake up and read a book.
Well, you know what I found interesting since you said that, because even in the interview, that man said that he was doing pharmacy. But he told you that, though. I was doing pharmacy. I didn't want to do that no more. So now I flipped it. Now I'm in the Army. He took a test, had one of the highest scores on the test.
And that is amazing. But at the end of the day, I'm not coming home to you and your test every night. That is a standard. As a man, you having your shit together is a standard. If the only thing that we are going to talk about all the time is your job and what you do for work, I am going to be miserable. That is a man having his shit together and a man having a good job and a man being a provider is a standard. That is not the only thing that makes a relationship work. If that was the case, then these billionaires would stay married, and they don't. There has to be a common ground for both people. Period. It does.
Well, I hear you.
And that does not, and just because somebody feels like or somebody feels like that they need that and that's what they want, that doesn't mean that they don't appreciate an intelligent man. Hell, I'm still going to be with a successful, intelligent Black man, but that doesn't mean just because I decided to pass on him, that doesn't mean that that's not what I want out of life. Maybe I just felt like I needed a little bit more, and from that conversation, I just felt like I didn't get it.
And that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I can't change your mind. I could just try to throw you some little old lady game, and that's all I'm able to do. But like I said, even with that man, he just showed a lot of stuff within 2 minutes, and even coming back and even knowing where he even lives. I think there was a lot to dig in with that man. And, at the end of the day, it's, I think men are telling us that, damn, I have all this to offer you and I want to give it to you, but you're willing to surpass all the accomplishments and the accolades that I know that can make your life amazing. And we're willing to pass on that because he didn't give us butterflies or personality within a couple minutes, which I can tell you this. I
wouldn't say surpass in addition to. Let's say that.
Well, we don't always get everything that we want, and we definitely don't get it all. So you just have to prioritize what's most important. And I'm here to tell you, being a provider, a protector, intelligent, moral, God-fearing, that's the most important. And all that extra, you as his helpmate can bring that out of him. And I think he would appreciate that for you. I see you rolling your eyes.
No, I'm just thinking because I'm like, I'm just thinking. That's all.
Oh, okay. Well, you heard. All right. Now, don't let me see you in 2, 3, 4 years. Because I'm going to be with that man. I'm going to cougar him. I'm going to make some hot water cornbread, turnip green. I'm going to slide them in. I got some white beans for you, baby.
I'm going to be in my house cooking with my kids. Don't worry. Don't worry.
I'm gonna be singing Joe, all the things that girl want to do. And I'm gonna be like, you passed on a good one.
And that's fine because I'm gonna be at home with my man. Who is also gonna be intelligent, successful, and we gonna have our kids, and I'm gonna be making my homemade macaroni and cornbread. And it's gonna be fine.
Girl, you don't know how to cook all that. Go on, where Alan at? You don't know how to cook all that, girl.
Yes, I do. Are you in Atlanta?
I'm in Tennessee, so I'm in the South.
Girl, I'm from the country. I know how to cook.
Okay. You might get from a dude talking about what that hot water cornbread sounded like.
I know how to cook. Don't play. And it's not giving Kraft macaroni. It's giving homemade.
Okay.
It's giving. I think I got the runs. That's what it's giving.
Girl, you better ask about me.
All right, guys. I appreciate you, Courtney. Please clip this for your channel because you were dropping some gems. It'll be interesting because what Courtney is going to be doing soon is talking to women. Because a lot of times we just talk amongst ourselves in this space, men just talking a barbershop and the whole nine. So this was a really powerful conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for chit-chatting me. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for giving me your perspective.
No problem. Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right, Jalea, do you have energy or are you tired?
We can keep going. I do. I want to ask you a question, though. Do you feel like it takes more than, from a man's perspective, Do you feel like men always know themselves?
I think men find themselves through their work, right? So if you look at, so I'm not a super good Christian, but I quote the scripture a lot. If you look at the scripture, God gave Adam the garden before he gave him Eve, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times men find their purpose, and through their purpose, they find themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So typically, like, I tell women, yo, look at his LinkedIn before you look at his IG. Like, his IG is his facade, his character, but his LinkedIn is really what he's about, what he's interested in. So yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. We have somebody in the back who is also in the Navy. Let me see what he said.
Oh, Brandon, Navy guy within.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna bring him up, and we're gonna keep it short, but I want to know kind of what his perspective is on this. How you doing, brother?
How you doing? What's going on? How you doing?
How are you?
Good.
I'm all right. I'm just I've been keeping up with this story because it's been all over the social media, and I've been seeing it here and there, and I've been looking at some of my favorite content creators to talk about it. I'm like, okay, what they're saying. I guess first thing I'm gonna say, I saw your IG live with Melly last night, and I'm gonna just agree with the dudes in there. First off, that you didn't have to choose to like the dude or go on a date with him. You didn't have to. Wasn't required. I think what bugs me being in the Navy, and I just completed the path he's about to start. So understanding what he's about to go through and what he had to do to just get to the starting line is just like, it's a lot. He's going to be something that people don't get to do because they're smarter, they're good, or they're intelligent. He's going to do something that's, like I said, I put in the chat earlier that, less than 5% of all humans have ever done in their lives. He's either going to be on a naval aircraft carrier or a submarine. One of those two things. That's where the nuclear trained guys go. So with the career stuff, I want to keep that short. It really just like the last one was saying, like he threw a lot of attributes and a lot of qualities at you at the beginning of it. I think the way he might have presented them to you may not have, you didn't receive them in a way that would have sounded pleasing to you, but he named off just about everything that women typically look for in a man. And I think the only one she missed was the ambition he had. Because he also mentioned that he went pre-med for pharmacy at 17. So that's a guy that, you're a pre-med at 17, and, where most people are high school don't know their ass from the hole in the ground. He's already learning to be a pharmacist, and he's like, that's boring. It's not challenging enough. So he went back to school. Then he went, he took that test, which is, I don't know if you know what that test is, but it's one of the more challenging academic exams that you could ever take anywhere for anything. So, like I said, the intelligence thing is there. But what he's going...
That is undeniable. He is extremely smart.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. He's intelligent. Definitely.
So just like for me, it's like understanding where he's got to go and what he's got to do. Like, I think you mentioned earlier, like, can you go to strip club with him? Like, I'm a retired sailor, and he's about to become one. That's what we do. We go to the strip club and wild out and drink and have fun. I don't know if you've ever heard these stereotypes of sailors, but yeah, that part of his life is going to be abundant, and it's everlasting. His entire time he's going to be there.
And that's dope. And I wish he would have shared some of that with me. That's what
he wouldn't know. He wouldn't know. I'm a retired guy. I did 21 years, and yeah, we had fun, and we went everywhere. And I've been to probably 15 to 20 countries, having fun. Going to a strip club overseas is way different than it is in the States. I'll tell you that much. Magic City is boring to me. That's the experience. So, just the things that he was going to go do, and I know he didn't know, and he didn't really pass them on to you. But I think the biggest thing I could say, the lesson to kind of look at something for the future for yourself and for any of the other women that might be listening is, like the previous guest was saying, is that you kind of have to look at us in a different way when we're trying to explain our personalities, what we like and what we're thinking about most of the time, because we present them in a different way than how you would present your personality. Our work is important to us because we want to be successful in life, and we want to be successful for the people we care about later on in life when we get to that point. So being able to say, you know, I can be a provider and a protector and all that stuff, that's what makes us happy, is having someone to provide and protect for. That's like the number one thing. Is I want to be able to sit at home, watch my wife and kids, you know, live a good life and be able to do what they want to do and have the things that they, you know, I didn't have when I was younger. I want them to have where I was lacking in my life. So it's one of those things where we may not convey it the way that women convey it to themselves or to us.
Yeah.
But I think women have to kind of maybe take a second and learn how it is we're conveying the things that you want to hear, but diagnose it from a perspective of how we say it.
Yeah, that's fair. I can totally understand that and respect that. I have a question though. So when you were
Sure.
like active duty, did
Yep.
you have time like for a relationship and those kind of things?
Oh yeah, I had many relationships, long-term, short-term, situationships, all that stuff. I had everything. So I was with my daughter's mom for 6 years. She moved around with me. It was great. We went on vacations, went places that she wanted to go in the country. A lot of the guys who were married that I was around and worked with, they brought their wives overseas. I was overseas for 12 years of my 20-year career. And their wives and family were right there with them. And whenever we were back in, they were on vacation going all over Southeast Asia, wherever they wanted to go. And it was cheap. And a lot of it was free because you could just get on a military plane wherever they're going and be like, yeah, I want to hop along and want to go to Japan. Oh, there's a flight leaving tomorrow if you can make it. Okay, I'll go.
That's also interesting though, because I also feel like to be with somebody who is in the military, you gotta be okay with. That's a certain lifestyle too that you gotta be okay with.
Yeah, it's a rough lifestyle, and it's one of those things that you have to adapt to with the family and as a person. Like you have to change, and like for him, he's going to whatever things you might have saw were lacking or felt were lacking. Those are going to get fixed pretty quickly. Like he doesn't have a choice but to be a good leader. He doesn't have a choice but to have a great personality with dealing with people and having to making big decisions in his career. He doesn't have a choice. It's not something that he can just be like an average guy doing a job. You have to be above average or better every day, or you go away. Because for our job, you have people's lives in your hands with the decisions you make, and you have to know what you're doing at all times. You can't just fake it until you make it. You're like, you either know or you don't. And if you don't, you got to go.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's a huge job. That's a lot of responsibility.
Oh yeah.
I will say this though, just to be clear, I want to like reiterate this for sure, because I feel like people feel like I did not appreciate his intelligence or like or what it's not the fact that I didn't appreciate it.
Yep, I get that.
It was like I was never trying to like discredit it or being like, oh, it doesn't matter. I think for me, the point that I'm just trying to get across is
it didn't feel like you were being disrespectful at all. I think the issue is that from an outside perspective is that what you were looking for, he presented in a way that you didn't receive, either because you weren't familiar how to receive it or interpret what he was saying, or he just didn't present it well enough. One of the two, I don't know. But for me, he gave the things that you were looking for him to present. He gave a good bit of those, just from my perspective. And like I said, I understand what he was conveying because I'm a guy. I'm also in the Navy, so I know what he's going to go do. So him conveying that he likes martial arts and he's, the ambitious guy that I can go do the hard things that no one else is going to try to do on their best day.
Yeah, and I feel that. I understand that. I just also think, and again, he was not wrong for saying that, because that's being a provider is what a man is, right? That's in society. It's
an important thing, and we're more than that too. It's just those are the things that we're the most proud of, and we want to have somebody see and recognize. Those are like the most important things. Is hey, I'm succeeding in life. I'm not Pookie and Ray Ray down on the block.
Yeah, like
trying to hustle you some waters for $10.
So I guess when I said like, oh, I need somebody with some personality, when I said that, it made it seem like fuck everything else he was talking about. I only need personality. You know what I mean? So I understand. It
seemed like he was boring and lame. Like I need somebody with something going on, and it's like he had those things. He just didn't convey them in a way that says, I have these wonderful things and these are cool and here's what makes me awesome, you know, type of way. He was more preserved and held back from it. Cause like we get, you know, as men, we get kind of dinged on for being the way he is and having those accolades when we express them that way.
Yeah.
From other men too. And it's not just women, it's other men, you know, most of our lives. And then, you know, you get to adulthood and then it starts to also be the women that you may try to court or talk to or whatever. And it's a misunderstanding of the communication. It's not that you did anything bad or wrong or that he did anything bad or wrong. There's just speaking two different languages at the same time. You're asking him to show you something and he's conveying it to you in a way that he knows how. And then you would have to interpret that, flip it to the language that you understand and be like, okay, I get it. And in that instance, you know, the 2 minutes you had, that didn't happen. That's unfortunate, but it's nothing that you did wrong. It's just something that we, as, you know, especially black men and black women, we got to start understanding how each other communicate and start absorbing things. And I'm going through the same thing with my sister right now too. She's 26 and I'm just like, I'm struggling to get her to understand. Like, you don't have,
like she doesn't understand.
She's kind of infatuated with the Pookie right now.
Oh, see, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm past that point in my life. I don't want no.
Yeah.
I don't want no.
Yeah.
Rare. I don't want no.
Yep.
I simply just want what I feel like is a good mesh for me.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. That's what everybody wants, somebody that likes them and it's a good fit for them. We just got to figure out how to find those things and identify them. Yeah. In the other sex's language. Yeah. Because sure. Like I said, we're not going to communicate it the way that you understand it in your head necessarily. And you're not going to communicate the things that we want or are looking for necessarily in the language that we understand. So we have to work too to look and see, okay, where are the qualities I'm looking for? Let me ask these questions or figure out how to talk to you in a way that gets you to give me the thing that I'm looking for, because I think it's there. I see it, but I need to make sure.
Yeah, like I just felt like I just needed like a little bit more, like a little more or even just, I think I was just looking for him to present it differently. You know what I mean? You hit it on the head. I think for me, the most frustrating part about it was literally like automatically, it was just like, oh, she doesn't appreciate his qualities, or oh, she doesn't want this because she wants this. And I'm like, what? That was coming from people who saw the qualities that you may have expressed early in their life that you were looking for. He just expressed them in a way that you didn't understand or didn't take in. Yeah. And so I think for me, that's honestly what pissed me off about it. Or it's just like, oh, he automatically wants a thug, or she automatically wants this or that. And I'm just like, that's not what I said. I just felt like I needed somebody with some personality. But everybody else heard, I guess, watching it was like, oh, well, he did tell you about his personality and the things that he likes to do. And to me, I felt like that's your job description. Well, like I said, karate stuff. And I kind of read it a little bit because I was curious about the business degree and going back to come like, okay, what'd you do in that in between? Because you were a whole pharmacist before doing pharmacy stuff at 17, those 4 years of pre-meds. I'm like, what'd you do between 21 and 27? So I mean, I had questions honestly about it when I think about it. I'm like, okay, what did you do with your life in this period? You went back to school. Okay, did you do anything in between school and working? Like, did you have a job? Did you have something else going on? And like I said, you mentioned the karate, and that's that's martial arts. That's cool. So I just think for me, I felt like he was only reading off his resume to me, and I'm like, I'm not putting you on payroll. For real. That's just like how I felt about it. Like, because if you really watch the clip, because some people honestly just like chopped it up and like pieced it together. But when he told me he was a freaking nuclear physicist, I sat up in my seat. I was like, oh shit. Like, that's dope. And then literally, I was saying this earlier, you literally saw the decline because I was waiting for something like specific. And again, I just felt like he was reading me off his resume. And like I said, that's just a thing that's how we present our characters and qualities and attributes. So like, can I be committed to doing something
can I be successful at something? Can I be ambitious and go the next step forward instead of staying stagnant? So that's how we kind of present those qualities that women say they want in a man.
Yeah.
We say, here's what I've done to prove that I am actually have that characteristic. I'm ambitious because I'm going into the military and I had to do all this process, or, went to pharmacy school. That got boring and too easy. I want to do this, and now I'm going to go do this other hard thing. I'm intelligent, I'm reading books and all that stuff. So I have these qualities, but we show them by here's what I've done to prove that I have these qualities. It's not I have them. It's I'm doing these things to show you that I'm legitimately this type of person.
Yeah. And then I also think, like, for me, I automatically got written off as I didn't appreciate it, but it was just like, did I really, or did I challenge what everybody else feel like is the only standard?
Yeah, and that's like I said, that's one of those things where it's tough, because if that's your standard that you've held anyway, and people don't know you from when you were on the show, they only saw the little clip. They don't know that that's the standard you held anyway. But they see who's around them and women that look like you who don't hold those standards.
Yeah.
And they assume that you're the same as them, and it's tough. Because men get looked at the same way. I might look like I got a scruffy beard and glasses on, but 4 months ago I was, a guy that was in uniform, standing at attention, square jawline, and all that stuff that you would think about a military guy. And I was that guy. But now I'm out here in the world doing what I want to do and going to festivals and doing road trips to nowhere just because I can. I have free time and I'm retired. So I'm like, I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah. And so, question, do you feel like that's fun for you?
It's different because I've always felt restricted in what I can do and what I can say and where I could go, in parts because I was kind of in the leadership level in the military. So I had to kind of be the example for the younger people all the time, and had to be, tough, rigid, and always doing the right thing, or at least perceived to be doing the right thing all the time. So now that I don't have that burden anymore, I'm just like, I'm doing what I want to.
Do you feel like you ever had a moment to where you were like, oh shit, this is foreign to me, what the fuck am I doing?
After getting out?
Yeah.
No, because I just did so many things I just wanted to be able to do. Like, I wanted, like, wearing regular clothes is an experience to me every day. Like, I get to wear a shirt and tie and, some dress pants and stuff to work. And I'm like, so glad I don't have to wear that hot uniform anymore every day. So just wearing regular clothes is just nice to me, because, like, I come home and put on some sweats or some shorts and chill at the house, or maybe run to the store, nothing serious. But now I got to wear, now I get to wear all kind of nice dress shirts every day. And
do you feel like it's liberating in a sense?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel free of a burden that I didn't know I was carrying. It's weird because you're not restricted. Like, it's not like you just have to be this perfect uptight person in the military. You can be who you want to be as long as you follow the rules. The rules aren't that hard, but it's just there's a pressure and a weight on you to be more than you think you can be all the time, and then you have to show other guys that they can be more than that they are being right now. You have to teach people, like, here's how you be better than you are right now. Here's how you can change your own life and take control and go beyond what you're doing right now. And it's challenging, but it's also rewarding to see people actually take heed of your word and be like, oh, I didn't realize I could do that. This is easy now. I'm succeeding. I'm making progress and doing better in life. So yeah, that was the reward. But like I said, the burden of it is you have to be that guy to show them all the time.
Yeah, definitely. You got to, at the end of the day, you got to operate to a certain standard.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. I feel that. See, I feel like I just learned so much about you.
No, that was a dope conversation. I was listening. Yeah, no, he was dropping jewels, but I appreciate you so much, bro.
Yeah, no problem, no problem.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. All right, man, take it easy.
You too.
All right, so we got one more person.
Is it female?
It's a female, and I'm excited because she's closer to your age. She's another content creator. She's super dope.
Oh, wait. Also, I saw Courtney's name pop back up, and she said, thank you for the conversation. Thanks.
Yeah, no, Courtney is dope. Courtney's the best. But yeah, so the person I'm bringing up, her name's Zizi. Zizi, how you doing?
We can't hear you, girl.
I got you.
My bad. Hey, I'm good.
How you doing, Zizi? I'm good.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
I'm excited. I'm excited that you're here. How was your stream?
It was good long. I just got off the joint literally like 10 minutes ago. I ate something and I seen you was still streaming. I said, let me go ahead and hop back on right quick.
I appreciate it. All right, so I'm gonna drop down and I'm gonna let y'all chop it up. Cool.
Okay.
All right.
Well, hello.
Hello.
So I seen your clip, with the young gentleman.
Yeah.
And I did hear a little bit of your conversation with the brother just now who was just up here. And I think I understand what you're saying when you said that he did kind of he didn't present himself in his personality, like you said, in the way that you would have expected, or that was, maybe more attractive to you. But I will say, I feel like you ain't give him like you could have asked him a little bit more questions. Like maybe if you would have just been like, well, yeah, that's nice that you did well in your test and that's your career field. But what about, what type of movies do you like? Or what are you into? What kind of hobbies are you into? Things of that nature. Like just gave him a little bit more leg room to, show off his personality some.
I agree with that. Because I definitely didn't ask him no other questions. I think, honestly, when I was looking for him to like tell me more, I had already decided that in my head. I was like looking for something specific. And so then when he did give me that, I was just like, all right, I'm over it.
Was that like a calling, like a dating show? Was he like one of like somebody?
Yeah. So I wasn't only talking to him on the show. So it was like a lot of different men were like calling in. So it was like I had talked to a ton of different people.
Okay. Was he coming in towards like the middle or end, or was you getting kind of tired?
I don't even remember. I think he was coming in. I think he came in towards like more so the middle. I had been on there for a while. I feel like I talked to so many people. I'm gonna be honest. I was just like, all right. But how I was telling them earlier though, I feel like if the environment would have been a little differently, we probably would have had a different outcome. But it's like I was on a speed dating show, so I was,
Okay. I mean, yeah, it's understandable. I will say, I don't know. I mean, brother, that's a nuclear physicist. I mean, I got enough personality for the both of us. So we can make something work. I'm just saying, he in the right field. He about to make something shake, sis.
I mean, and I feel that. I think that's so dope. But I also think at the end of the day, too, watching the live, at the beginning of the live, I did express like I also don't want no long distance relationship.
What state are y'all in? How far are y'all?
He was in Texas and I'm in Georgia. And then he was also, and I think dating is just like a case by case scenario. And then he was also leaving for basic training. So yeah, he would have came back. But also at the end of the day, if he is in the military, like, and if I'm looking for a family, or in the retrospect, because that's what they were saying earlier, right? Like at this point, I shouldn't take it for granted and all this other stuff. I'm gonna be honest, I don't want to move around. Like that's not the lifestyle I want for myself. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, I'm a professional dancer, so I'm in the entertainment industry myself. Like, you know what I mean? Like I got my own thing going on. So I also think that like people were trying to force their ideas of what they feel like is great. Maybe for you, but maybe that was not what was great for me. Could I have asked him more questions? Absolutely. But at this point in my life, when I wouldn't even say I shouldn't have said the personality comment. I feel like I should have explained it in a different way. Probably wouldn't have came off like that. But I will say, number one, how I told her earlier, I totally went on that show for fun. I was not looking for anything serious. I didn't talk to anybody from the show. I didn't give anybody my number from that show. It was totally real. It was totally just for fun for me. But I will say this, like, right now, what I want and what I feel like I need I need somebody that's going to be present and somebody that I can go and do things with and also have fun with. Yes, you need to have some business about yourself. You need to be on your shit. That is a standard, point blank, period. But in addition to that, that is what I feel like I need for myself. Fuck him being a nuclear physicist. It's not going to do nothing. For real. It's not. That's not going to do anything for me if he's still not here. And that's what I feel like I want. If that's what we're really talking about.
Well, how old are you?
I'm 23.
Are you looking? You said that he was. I mean, you don't want to do far distance or anything like that, but are you looking for like a husband? Is that what you're looking for? Like something permanent? Or are you just dating around?
I would say right now I'm dating, but if it's the right guy, I am definitely looking for a serious relationship that would turn into something. Now, I will say this, I'm still not looking to date anybody seriously from a speed dating show.
Okay, understandable.
I will say that, but that's not something it's not like I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm too young to get married or to be in a serious relationship. I'm not against it, but I do feel like I need certain things for me right now that's going to work for me. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, definitely not. I mean, but it also just has to be, I think there should be intention behind it. That's why I asked you if you was looking for, if you're trying to be a wife, you're actively looking for a husband, because if that's the case, then you setting those standards isn't necessarily a bad thing, because you knowing that you don't like, I think that's legitimate. You knowing that you don't want to be in a long distance relationship, things of that nature, I think that's a legitimate concern, especially for you. That's probably what you should have said. He's just too far. So
right. You would have saved me.
Got off with that. You could have just got off with that.
Too far away.
It's too far. He's about to be all over the place. I don't want to live that type of lifestyle. A lot of people don't prefer that, especially in America. He's about to be in the military. That's a lot, to take on.
And then again, I'm gonna keep saying this too, because I definitely was not taking it seriously, like for real, just being honest. But I will say this too. I do feel like, me personally, I've been deprived of that, just because the last 4 years, honestly, I ain't really had a life myself. Just like constantly working and stuff. So I do feel like me being like, oh, I need somebody with some personality, also should explain it better, but that should have translated into, I feel like I need somebody that I can also go on dates with all the time, and we go do what I feel like is fun shit for me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, again, I said this earlier, maybe I just want to simply go ride go-karts and stuff. And that's not to say that maybe he couldn't have given me those things. But if we being honest, his current situation, no, he's not able to.
Yeah, what was he about to say he was getting stationed out to? Where was he going?
Honestly, I don't even remember. I just remember him saying he was getting shipped off.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's a legitimate concern. I can't even argue that, to be honest, because that's something personally, I wouldn't necessarily want as well. So I can understand that, but
yeah, for sure. But for me, being like, I ain't gonna hold you, I definitely could have asked him some more questions.
Yeah, because I think he did kind of show it, even though he wasn't necessarily saying direct things about himself. Even the way he said it, like, I just said, fuck it, and went to do like certain things. It kind of showed he was kind of had like a bit of a goofy side, or like kind of a funny side, the way he was kind of delivering what he was saying, even though he wasn't talking about some of the things you wanted him to specifically talk about himself. But even the way he was saying it kind of seemed like he still had like a funner side to him, like a bit of a bigger personality than what he was letting off, Yeah. So yeah, I think you could have gave a brother a shot, but I think that's a legitimate, standard you can have as somebody you want that's close to you. You want to be able to see regularly and not have to, have a long distance relationship. I don't see nothing wrong with that, because that's not for everybody. It doesn't work for everybody, to be honest. Long distance relationships, it's not for me. I'm not trying to be a long distance.
I mean, to be honest, I think at a point in my life, I would have been game for it, but right now I'm not game for that shit. I'm just gonna be honest. I want what I want. I want it how I want it. And you know what I mean? And not to say that I'm obviously, if it's the right person, of course I will for sure compromise. But it's just like, I don't think there's anything wrong with being like, I want it how I want it.
Well, and it's not necessarily, but that's what I was about to say too. It has to be intention behind it, because you don't want to just be out here wondering, and even if you do end up in a relationship with a man and it does get to that point, you fall in love, you want to get married, that has to be, that's why I asked you if you was wanting to be a wife, because that has to be in his intentions as well. Y'all can be in love for years. Men will stay with you forever and never marry your ass. If it comes to that. So if you are looking for that, that has to be an intention and a standard that you set immediately. It's like, I'm ready to be a wife. I'm looking for a husband. I'm looking to be settled, to have children. I want to be in this area. And, and then the other things you can compromise on as well. You going out. Cause the older you get, the less important certain things like that in that aspect becomes less important to you anyway. You know, you young, I get it, 23.
I don't know, but I feel like, I feel like people still do those things, but they just do them in different ways, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you know, it changes a bit, especially if you have children. It changes, but people still have fun even when they're older. Absolutely.
Still, I mean, and I guess I think some people, for instance, when I was talking to Courtney earlier, she kept using the word like fairy tale experience, but my head is not even there anyway. Like, I think even down to the fact of like, my parents have fun, and when I say they have fun, they not in clubs or doing stuff like that, you know what I mean? But like, they still have experiences together, and they still experience life together, and it works for them. And I think that's so dope. You know what I mean? So I think it's just all about what people's perception of it is, I guess, and what they feel like it is.
Yeah, but and then you got to think about too. I mean, there's also other things that come with that. You know, some people, like even your parents, you know, this is, I mean, I'm sure you're not completely indulged in their marriage and every aspect within, you know, they have going on, but there's certain compromises there that, you know, people have when you're talking about, especially going out. There's certain boundaries and lines, you know, people have, especially after children and things like that. So, I mean, I get it, you know, wanting to have fun with your man and stuff like that, because I'm still young. I'm only 25 myself. I still want to go out. I want to be able to go out to the club with my man too.
I also think, like, no shade, no tea, I definitely appreciate the, you know, the advice and stuff. But the reality of it is I'm just not to that point yet, like to where I feel like I gotta just take the first thing that I feel like comes my way. And that does not mean that I don't appreciate it, or it doesn't mean that I don't think that his job is awesome. It is. He is smart as shit. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't mean that I don't appreciate it or I don't care about having those qualities in a man. It just literally means I just want it how I want it, and it ain't nothing wrong with it. And I don't feel like everybody should try to force their idea of what they feel like they should have done on somebody else.
Yeah, and you know what? I can understand that as well, because for a lot of women, you know, just the fact of the career field that he's in and the stature he'll be at within the next 5-10 years, you know, he's still young right now, but where he's on the way to, a lot of women will see that and be like, you know, especially women who's in their 30s, who's coming out of their prime, who may have had children out of wedlock, you know, made some bad decisions, whatever the case may be. They looking at you like, sis, I would have snatched him up in a second. You know, I would have took the boring, I would have compromised on a lot of things just to have that stability that he's obviously on the way to, you know, so.
Exactly, but at the end of the day, if we're being honest, you are projecting your experience of your life onto me, and that's not fair.
Yeah, I mean, but even seeing some of the young ones too, because women, even in your predicament, who aren't necessarily, you know, they may not be as attractive, they may not be as feminine, they may not be as, you know, just don't have that type of men approaching them, have those type of men approaching them regularly or ever, you know, so even those women it's kind of a bit of like, this is a no-brainer, you know, to some women. It's like, why wouldn't you give him a shot, you know, to someone, which is completely understandable, because again, the brother is going to be, he's on the way he's on the right path, obviously. You know, he looked like he seemed like he had a good head on the shoulders, even besides, you know, the financial stability and career path he's choosing. But I mean, yeah, I understand. I get it. You know, you got your options at this point. You're only 23, you know.
So guess, gosh, this is going to sound bad. I don't even want to say it like this, but I also think, I don't even know if I should say this. I understand why I see why it caused the kind of uproar it did. But I also think for me, I'm not saying that what he does and the kind of man that he is went over my head. I'm not saying that. But I also think that I'm in a predicament to where I got different options.
I mean, I mean, I believe you. You probably do. You know, but also, you know, again, you got to set your intentions, because options, not all of those options.
Everything that glitter is not gold.
Exactly. That may not be what you want, what you need. You know, all those options may not be what you actually need. You know,
but I just feel like for me personally, like that hasn't been the only successful man that's going to come my way who is smart and intelligent. He's not the first one, and he's not going to be the last. And that's just, I'm standing on that.
I can't be that. I can't disagree but so much, because, or, argue that so much, because, it is true. You're a fairly attractive young woman. You're 23. You are going to have, you haven't even completely gotten to your full prime yet. So I can understand your,
what I mean? So I feel like everybody is in a frenzy for me, and I'm like, relax, I got this.
Yeah. But it's not even just you though. It's really, I think people are looking at it on like a macro scale.
Yeah,
it's like
for sure. I'm just
our women, we want our married women, young men, especially our young women, who a lot of our young women are not on the path to be wives. A lot of our young women are on this whole feminist, I do what I want, I'm just out here, I'm just doing what I want to do, I'm just dating around, when I settle down, it'll be whenever I please, whenever I want to. They think they carry this mindset that I'll always have these options for however long as I choose to have these options, not realizing that as things change, your options, your dating pool gets smaller. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's how really what triggered it for a lot, especially men, was like, really, this young brother is not going to this. How does he not have a shot? Out of any of the, I'm not sure how many other brothers was up there or what their credentials was, but if anybody should have, this guy would you think would have a shot? What would you think would have a shot? So I get it on a macro scale, but I can completely understand your perspective.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I'm just a casualty of like a way bigger conversation of like what's going on in the community. I can see that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Within the community right now. And I totally agree with that. There are so many people my age and they lost for sure.
Yeah, they are definitely.
They place their value in different things and materialistic things. And I'm gonna say this too though, because I'm gonna be honest, and I gotta say this, and I also gotta stand on this too, because there's a lot of women who probably wouldn't even like him for real, and they just see dollar signs that were on my head. Yeah, and that's very true, and I feel like that happens a lot.
Yeah, but it's not as, even those women like well, of course you have like your gold diggers and women who are, which is not, that's like the darker side of femininity, which is just going for the materialistic things with the benefits you can get out of him. But it's natural for women to want a man to be resourceful, a man to be, to be on a path of, even if he's not there yet, again, the brother is young, but be on a path to being stable, to be financially stable, to being able to support their family. A lot of women, even if they do have to work, they don't want to be the sole, they don't want the financial stability to depend on them working. They want to be able to take off and help things like that.
I want to help. We were talking about this earlier because I was telling him too that I'm like, when I come home, I want to cook and clean. Like, I want to be a woman, you know what I mean? Especially, I feel like for me, I'm naturally like ambitious and like hardworking, all these things. But I don't want to be that with my man.
Yeah, most women don't.
You know what I mean? I want to be a baby.
A woman, but girl, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like, I want to have my own thing, but it's just like, I want to be that feminine woman. I want to be submissive. Like, I definitely, for me, I feel like I need that. So I don't feel like, for me personally, I'm one of those women that's just like on this whole like feminist power trip.
Okay.
Because I'm not with that shit. I mean, I do feel like as women, we should be able to, we got to have some business about ourselves for sure. But I'm not one of those females to where I feel like, oh, I don't need no man, or I don't need no man to do this. I'm not on that trip.
Okay. I mean, that's good to know. That is, I'm glad you said that, because that's good. I'm sure a lot of brothers.
And I think that like a lot of people assume that. I also think I want to touch on this again with you, just because I want to hear your take on this too. I also thought it was just interesting at how many people just kind of like stereotyped me, and I heard so many people be like, "Oh, she's probably just a bottle girl."
You're just
Yeah, or just like stuff like that, and I'm like, dang. So I just feel like a lot of the like, I can't respect that kind of backlash at all. Now, after having further conversations with other women and getting like, you know, the perspective on like why older women give me backlash and why they feel how they feel, I can respect that. I'm not saying I agree with it 100%, but I can respect it. You know what I mean? But I can't respect that. I just think like saying stuff like that is just like simply pure hate. Like that's ridiculous.
I mean, yeah, that's the lower vibrational side of criticism. You know, you're gonna have some people who's just up there like she's, you know, they gonna go in. You know, it happens, especially when you have viral moments like that where everybody is saying it. You're going to see that, and then people follow each other, so people hop on the bandwagon. Like, yeah, she is just a, you know, so you're gonna have that. It just is what it is. But the best part about it, or what you should focus on, is the real critique, you know, the meaningful parts of it, you know, because are you close to your father, or you have brothers in your life?
Yeah, I actually have 4 brothers and 2 sisters.
Did your brothers see it? To see the clip?
Yeah.
What did they say?
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I feel like my whole family is like, you ain't gotta like him just because he a nuclear physicist. Like my mom thinks it's absolutely crazy. She literally, I'm not gonna lie, my mom, she's not here for it at all. She actually texted me and she's like, "This is turning negative. Turn it off right now."
Oh,
like, she's not here for it at all. But it's just like my brother that I'm like the closest with, he didn't really say too much about it. I just think he thinks it's stupid, honestly. Like to him, I'm just his little sister. He's like, whatever, my little sister's going viral right now. And also they know me for real. So they know that I'm not those things that people are saying about me. They know that I'm on the right track within my life. So like to them and to everybody else, like all my close friends and people that love me and know me for real, it's a total joke. They're like, are you serious right now?
But do you think even besides the fact that he was maybe not in the military, he was in Texas, he was in Georgia, local, okay? His job was a little bit close to you, so you could see him regularly. And your brothers know that, you know, that's something that you want. Do you think if they would have talked to him, that they would have approved him, or like they would have told you to go on a date with him?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Interesting. Now, is that something that you do though? Do you introduce the men that you are dating to the men in your family?
We gotta be real serious. I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't taken a man around my family in a long time.
Now, see, I think that's something that a lot of women tend to slip up on, you know, and I kind of used to think like that too, is waiting until I was always in love and then you get to meet the family. But it's like the men in your family are usually better at vetting the men for you, vetting the men that you date for you than you are yourself, because men can see, like, it's a different language men speak to each other. They can see, they're more direct. They can see things that you can't see because you're blinded by your emotionality. You know, you're blinded by your feelings, by what you want to see in him, your potential and how you feel and the chemistry and things of that nature. When your brother, who's not a woman, who's not going to not less likely to, oh well, he has a picture for this, and he's a nice young man. He's definitely more emotionality about it. They are on their side, they'll be more logical and more straightforward and more direct. And okay, this brother is da-da-da. And their conversation, even if it did go like y'all's, you know, and they didn't see their personality, like you said, they would probably be like, yeah, this guy will be a perfect fit for you, because they see the stability, the things that he brings to the table as a man, as what he would have as a husband for you, you know. And so I don't know, maybe you should use your brothers a little bit.
Maybe I should use more.
Maybe like second, third date, let them, just have a conversation.
I will say this, and I am definitely willing to stand on this too. If I was seriously like if I was taking the dating show seriously, he's definitely intelligent and he definitely has great qualities. But going back to what I was saying, I still wouldn't have been happy.
Why do you think that?
Because he's not here.
Of course. Well, bitch, it up.
You know what I mean? Like, that's why I felt like That's what I feel like I need right now. So it's not. I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to up and move around.
Okay, but that's understandable. Honestly, if you would have just said that, I don't think nobody would have said it.
I'm like,
I don't think you would have had the backlash.
I don't want to up and
You
move
could've just said
around.
that.
I will say this right now in Atlanta it is perfect for me, and with me like being a professional dancer and stuff. The dating scene, like I said, is rough out here. I ain't gonna hold you. Where are you from?
I'm from Maryland. I live
You're
in
from
Maryland.
Maryland? You live in Maryland?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, girl. I'm like, it is rough out here in the dating scene for sure. But
I've heard about Atlanta. I've definitely heard about Atlanta, man. You know, you might need to go outside the city then. At least travel outside your current city, maybe outside the state. But I've definitely heard some things about dating in Atlanta. You know, it's not the best thing. So, yeah, but I do believe there's some good brothers out there as well. You might be looking in the wrong place.
I can't even say they. I won't speak for all of them. But me personally, like I said earlier, I'm not looking for no man in the club because that just don't make sense to me.
Yeah, understandable. Completely.
Yeah.
So when you say a dancer, what type of dancer are you?
So I danced in the NBA for 4 years.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not a stripper.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I was like, she's playing dancing. Now she's in Atlanta. I'm like, are we talking about
I work with artists and stuff like that. I've actually been dancing my whole life. I've been dancing since I've been 3 years old.
Okay, cool. Okay, that's what's up. Yeah, I think you can. I mean, have you dated anybody in your field, like inside like the entertainment field? Is that something you want to do?
Like a dancer? Have I dated another dancer?
Yeah, or anybody like, I mean, even like you said you played for, I mean, you was a cheerleader on a basketball team?
Yeah, I was
a dancer on the basketball team?
The Atlanta Hawks.
So would you date somebody in that realm or,
I've dated people.
Okay. don't gotta elaborate. That's fine.
Yeah, I've dated people.
And I could imagine those people are more fun though. But even with those, they be out and about, and it can get a little messy.
I wouldn't even say that that's necessarily for me either.
Understood. Yeah.
I would just be honest. Yeah, I wouldn't say that's necessarily for me either.
Okay, so you're lad looking for a military night. So what's your preferable, like, what's your preference, when it comes to that? Have you figured that out? Or
a business mogul?
A business mogul? Wait a second, an entrepreneur or a business mogul?
Let me stop. Wait
a minute. Girl, don't get dragged to get on this damn internet. Don't do it to yourself. They gonna get you. Don't do it.
I am crying. Yeah, but for real though, I would say definitely, if we're talking about like me dating for real, and like awesome internet shit, like for real, I would definitely say I'm looking for a man who is definitely successful, intelligent, somebody who's not long distance, somebody who, like I said, some qualities, I guess some adjectives about him: caring, kind, compassionate, and then somebody that I could literally just also have fun with and go and do stuff. Like, I don't feel like that's too much to ask for.
Lord, yeah, but that's, I mean, it's I don't think it's necessarily that much to ask for, but it's not necessarily what another, like, a man in your family would look for as a companion, as a leader for you.
But why? If he is a successful man and if he's a successful man and he's intelligent and he has those qualities and that's in addition to him, I don't feel like that's taboo. Why is that so taboo?
Well, it's not necessarily taboo, but it's not at the top of the list. A wife, should I say, is looking for certain qualities in her husband, like provision, leadership.
I have a question though, but I said I needed all them things.
Provision and leadership.
Like
I think you said companionship and
no. I said that earlier too. I literally said that
Okay.
like a man is the head and the woman is the neck. For me personally, I need a man who I feel like I can trust his judgment and a man that leads me. But if you boring and the only thing you want to talk about, that's not gonna make me happy. I don't care what nobody says.
I can understand that, but it's not. I don't think that's.
Oh my gosh! So you mean to tell me?
I don't think it should be necessarily a deal breaker.
I have another question. So what do you think I mean by fun?
I mean, well, from what you've described, somebody that you can go out with, you know, that you can laugh with. Shit, that's about it.
Somebody I could go when you like, and when I say go out with, I mean just like, and even just like life experiences, like.
And that's what, even with that though, like there has to be, and that's what I'm saying, it shouldn't be such a deal breaker for you because.
But it is a deal breaker. But it is a deal breaker for me because I have literally feel like I have literally been in situations where I feel like I've been deprived of that.
Well, maybe, I mean, have you looked at it from another perspective? Like maybe the things that you find fun and he does is different. Maybe some of the things you'll have to just kind of
guess what? That doesn't make us compatible, and that's okay too.
Not true. Not true.
Yes.
Not necessarily true. You can get into, I mean, especially like I said, traditional women. That is not something that's on the top. Like a lot of our mothers and grandmothers, that wasn't a priority, especially for foundational Black men. Are you a Black American?
Yes.
Okay, especially for foundational Black Americans, like that. When we come, you talking about us coming out of slavery. We talking about segregation, Jim Crow. Like personality wasn't even on the damn list. We looking for a brother that can protect us, a brother that can lead us, a brother that can provide us provision. Like we're thinking about certain things that we need to survive, in this environment, and then pass on to our children.
And I agree with all of those things. A man should be with that. He has to be that if I'm gonna be with him. But in addition to that, I still
gotta put the but.
Yes.
Just say, but and I would also like. I would like, but
you didn't hear me though. I said, but in addition to that, I need what I need. And I'm standing on that. Like,
all I'm saying is reflect on if it's really a need.
Yes.
It's just a want. Is it something you need in a man? Or is it a want?
It's a need. For me. Now, if somebody else just wants to stop at those qualities and they happy and I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm gonna say this. I literally know women and their men and husbands are all of those things. And they feel like they lack the small things and it matters. And people who act like it don't matter, people who act like it doesn't matter, they're lying. Like even literally, I even heard Kim Kardashian say this because I'm aside from what we obviously know about Kanye West, right?
But Kim,
Kim
is who we're gonna go with.
Yeah, aside from what we obviously know about him and like, you know, his own personal issues and what he's dealing with, she literally was like, I still need the small things.
But Kim is a 304. Kim is for the streets. Kim then lost the richest Black man, one of the richest Black men in America.
Oh,
Kim was over there gave this Black man's children.
Don't matter.
To this white man. I don't even want to say it.
It does. I mean, but aside from that, though, what I'm saying is the point that I am getting at. Those things matter. People act like it doesn't matter, and it matters.
But I'm not going to say it doesn't matter, but I will say it's something. Yes. It's just for traditional women, it was never really at the top of the priority list because, again, especially for our grandmothers and mothers, like that's something a lot of our parents grew into, especially the ones that's been married for 50, 60, 30 years, 30 plus years. They grew into this, and they wasn't always as compatible, as you would say. You know, their personalities didn't always mesh as well. A lot of that, you know, they took time to kind of grow into. A lot of that they compromised on in the beginning, and then later on, you know, it felt like less of a compromise because they grew adapted to it, and they grew grew together as people and grew better together, grew into each other more. So that's what I'm saying. It's not, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter, but it's not at the top of the priority list.
I think different strokes for different folks. And now I'm not saying this. Let me be clear about this before people take what I said and run with it. I'm not saying that I'm going to go talk to a man that's a bum because he has an amazing personality. I'm not on that wave either.
I hope not.
Again, I feel like a man having his shit together and being successful is a standard if I'm going to be with you anyways. In addition to that, I still need what I need.
Okay, it's your life, sis. You gonna do what you do.
I do. I don't think that means that's gonna freaking exclude me from being married.
Nah, but if you again, it just don't take advantage of the position that you in, because too many of us do that and end up unmarried. And looking around like, how the hell did I end up unmarried? And I had all these options just 3-4 years ago.
No, I totally feel that, but I also think in the same regards, like, nobody has to settle.
I think a lot of us gonna have to settle. And I wouldn't even consider it settling. I think it's just get with a man and be happy. It ain't settling.
So how do you feel like you would have to settle? Like, what do you feel like you need in a relationship? Are you looking? How old are you?
I'm 25.
You're 25. Yes. Okay, so are you looking to get married and stuff?
Absolutely. And you know what? That's why I can kind of understand what you put, because just like 2-3 years ago when I was 23, 22, I was kind of thinking the same way. It's just like, it'll happen. Like, marriage was not a priority until, shout out to my brother, Kevin Samuels. And a lot of people in the Black manosphere, my father, my brothers, men I talked to in my life as well. And women, shout out to the Black women, and not only the manosphere, but just, Shahrazad Ali, some of my mentors, things like that. Like, I had a shift in perspective, about where I want the trajectory of my life to be at within the next couple of years. What exactly the type of men I qualify for, the type of men that I need, the type of men in my family that I'm actually used to, that I, the qualities in them that I've looked for in other men that I want in my man. Some of the qualities or things that they have that I may not want. Some of the things that even if I don't want, I need. All of that has kind of helped me shift my perspective now, and that's why I'm really kind of focused on being a wife. That was not something I was,
can I ask you a question?
Prioritizing at first.
What are some things that you feel like you don't necessarily want but you need?
Probably. And you know what? This is kind of a back and forth, but probably a man who is kind of strict. It's not something I necessarily want. I guess I kind of don't want that, because I want a part of me, the less traditional side of me that I've kind of been in, the more modern side of me that I was in before, wants myself to have free range, want to be able to do what I do. And, but a part of me I need that structure. Direction. I need that structure. I need that, that kind of discipline. And that's why I've kind of been putting myself in that within myself, like now recently, within like the past year or two, but focusing in on that, because that is something I know I want to attract, as a man who's focused and disciplined, and strict in that manner when it comes to his morals, when it comes to what he's focused on, what he wants to do, and his direction. I need a man who's like that. And that's not something I necessarily like. I kind of like freestyling it. Before I was freestyling for long, like, I'm just doing what I want to do. I was just doing what I want to do. It wasn't that big of a deal to me. But now I'm realizing, like, that is something I really need. And that's honestly something, even in my brother and my father, that, especially my father, that I thought I didn't really like. It was something I thought I couldn't. And that's was something that I thought I was, like, it was something better I was getting in men that I didn't, that was like an opposite quality from him than my father. But now I'm realizing, like, that's something I really actually I need. I didn't even realize that structure, that discipline is something that's important, and especially leadership, being able to lead, having being able to allow a man to lead you, so I'm still working on it, but that's something I definitely want.
Totally important. I mean, I feel like What I'm gonna be with you for if you ain't got that?
But that's where the men come in. That's where your men. That's where men can peep that women will be in a relationship 6 months, a year, 3 months, whatever, and be dealing with this man and not even see that. And when you could have avoided all of this had you let this man meet your brother or your father 2-3 months ago, and he would have told you right then, this brother is he's not on the path that you probably want to be. This probably not a brother you want to marry. He doesn't want to marry you. He's not in a position to be married to you right now. That's something that they'll be open and honest with you about immediately, especially if you're open and honest about that with him. And men will do that as well. You set that intention as well from the jump. Like, look, I'm ready to be a wife. I'm dating to marry. I'm dating to settle down.
You'll be honest with you. You will weed through people like that when you start setting intentions.
I'm sorry?
I said you will weed through people like that when you start setting intentions. It'll make to navigate your course, it will make it so much easier.
It will, but you're still a woman, so it does make it easier, but you can't get past or ignore the emotionality, the natural emotionality that we stem from. We are just more emotional beings. They're more logical.
For sure. I mean, I'm gonna say that it's always easy. Sometimes it's hard, but what I'm saying is you can avoid a lot of up situations if you are intentional, about like what you want and what you need, and it makes it easier.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. Yeah,
I mean, I think it takes time to get to that point.
Yeah, because you have to step into a certain level of self-awareness, which a lot of women lack, especially around your age, 23. So I mean, the fact that you're even able to receive, you would be able to have a back and forth is good. I can't even lie, because I don't know, at 23, I probably would argue me down like, girl, I mean, what you talking about?
Don't get me wrong. I think so.
My DMs last week. That was,
I think some people probably still probably feel like I'm not listening or I'm being hard-headed, but I'm standing on it. I'm standing on every drop of what I said. That's just. I am weird.
I mean, I will say you're at an advantage because your parents are married anyway, so you have an example there. You have people to go to, even when you are ready to really get into that role of being a wife. But it's not. I will say it's not an overnight thing. Like I said, this past year, really 2 years, this is like an unlearning and relearning process I've been going through.
For sure. It's one of those things to where like you come to an awareness, one about yourself. You're like, what do I need to change about myself?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's better for you to do that sooner than later because, when you get to that spot when you're like, damn, I really do want to be with this person. I do want to have somebody that I can be with forever. You want to already kind of be there or been working towards that. So it's not like you're last minute scrambling about, what you want to do.
Yeah, what do I need to do differently?
Exactly.
And it's just like. But I was saying this earlier too, because we were just talking about, how like some women feel like they want like a certain thing. And we were saying like, how can we change the narrative for that with Black women within our community? Like with us necessarily like praising like rappers and like that kind of thing, or just toxic relationships in general.
Yeah.
And
kind of glorify that.
Yeah, we do. I was even down to like the city girls and stuff like that too. You know what I mean? It's cool. Like that is what is represented right now. That's just what's popping. That's what's going on. And I simply just said, you have to want better for yourself. Like you get to a point to where you're like, I want better for myself. Like this ain't that. This is not cute. Like this is not real life.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of us, and that's why I said you kind of just got wrapped into a bigger conversation, because that's how a lot of people are viewing our younger women now, and that's so when they see that, it was like automatically, oh, she must be, like you said, she's a bottle girl. She's one of these city girls. She's there because that's the logic that a lot of these women kind of go by. It's just that, oh, there's no person, like there's no fun. It looks like that's no fun, so I'm not going to go there. When it's like real life isn't about fun. Real life, real marriage, commitment is not about fun. It's about duty. It's about obligation to your community, but to your family. About building, about reproducing. Yeah, it's not about fun. It's not about a personality. And that's what the traditional women. They didn't. Not only was that not on their priority list, but they didn't really even have that privilege to put that on that priority list, not for Black women at least, you know.
But now I will say this: we do have that privilege.
Now, yes, and some of us, too many of us take advantage of it.
Yeah, we do have that privilege. People definitely take advantage of it, but I wholeheartedly believe that you can have all of those things.
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, maybe not when you get older because your dating pool goes down. I understand all of that, but I also think that it is totally not absurd for people to be married and to have a man who has leadership qualities, who is a provider, and for us to still go out on dates, like go to concerts. Like, I don't understand what
you can get that.
You know what I mean?
You get that. It's just, you know, everything we talk again, macro scale, when macro conversation.
I'm not saying
everything on the list is probably not going to be checked off, and that's okay. And a man doesn't have to be everything on your list.
Nobody is perfect, but how people are literally acting that, like, what I'm saying, I'm not disregarding all of that. I understand. I am aware that that is necessary for a man. I need that for a man. I'm not going to be with a man if he ain't bringing that to the table, point blank, period. But it is not crazy, again, to feel like I want all those things and I want you to go on dates and I want us to go to concerts. Like, what the fuck is wrong with that? And I want to laugh a little bit too. Like, what's the problem?
You know, I mean, I don't think that's something. The men I've dated, I've had that. I don't know. I've had that at least. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that's too far fetched at the end of the day. I still don't think that's too
like, I get it. But I totally understand where everybody's coming from. I understand why people can take my clip and feel how they feel about it. I think it got real sensitive for some people. I think I hit a few nerves. I get more questions. I get it. I understand. Okay,
I mean, at least you learned something. You know, take the lesson.
I think honestly, what I learned from it is that I need to elaborate better.
I am weak.
But I still said what I said.
I said what I said.
Okay.
It's funny though, because that's honestly just me in real life. Like, shit, I said what I said. I don't know.
I am weak. Hey, look, while I'm up here, let me just give you this quick book reference. You should read this book.
What is it? Oh my God.
It's a must read.
Put it in my Amazon cart right now.
You gotta get it. It's
1,000%.
Every Black woman.
1,000%.
It's a must read for every Black woman, especially every Black American woman. You gotta read it. I'm trying to tell you. It'll teach you a lot about yourself. It's by Shahrazad Ali.
The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman.
Yes, ma'am. You got to get that. That's like a must-have.
I'm gonna read it and we're gonna check back in. How about that?
Please, definitely. You got an Instagram or something? I'll follow you.
Book club.
Boom, that's her Instagram right there.
Oh, bet. Okay.
Longwayleahh.
Yeah.
Good luck. Okay, yeah. Now that's definitely a must read though. You'll learn a lot. That sister is very intelligent, to say the least.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, I appreciate you guys for having me up here. I appreciate the
Thank you so much, Zizi. I appreciate you pulling up.
No problem, mate. Good night. And I follow you on the gram. Make sure you follow me on the gram too, though. My gram just got deleted. So __ CFWM too.
Yeah. Put it in chat. I'll pin it.
Yeah, they definitely just deleted my shit. So I'm gonna need to get my shit. I'm trying to get my drink back up.
They did you dirty. I just followed you back.
It's a greatness. But I
appreciate you, Zizi. Yes, ma'am. Me too.
I need to get off of Instagram for like 6 months. This is too much for me.
All right, y'all.
All right, bye, Zizi. Whew, man, it's almost so. Whenever I do streams, I always say I'm not going to do 4 hours, and then I end up doing 4 hours.
Wow, we've been here for that long.
It's been 3 hours and 37 minutes. Yeah. So shout out to you. You got stamina. You've been going. I appreciate you.
Listen, one thing about me, I don't fold, okay?
Yeah. So I mean, what is your takeaway from this? Like, what have you learned? How do you feel? Because we've touched on a lot of shit tonight.
We talked about a lot. First and foremost, I learned that I'm never going on a public dating show ever again.
Okay. Okay.
No, but for real, in retrospect, I will say I understand. I just have a better understanding of where the women are coming from now.
Mm-hmm.
I totally get it. Like they don't want me to, take advantage, and they don't want me to overlook.
Mm-hmm.
I think some people could have, just how like I could have explained things better. I feel like some other people could have explained things better instead of like attacking. Because if we're trying to change, stuff within our community, like again, it starts with us and how we treat one another.
1,000%. And I mean that's what my platform is about. It's about civil discourse, civil conversation. So I hope you experienced that tonight.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely.
For
I was
sure.
definitely comfortable. Like a part of being constructive is like embracing and accepting uncomfortable conversations,
Absolutely. And I want to commend you for that. It's not easy. It's not easy to go viral. It's not easy to have all these invisible people talking about you. So I appreciate you pulling up. I appreciate you being smart and being, receptive. That's the biggest thing for me. Like you were a good listener. So that's dope.
Thanks. I try
That's
to be.
dope.
I definitely try to see things from like different perspectives and all angles. So let me ask you a question.
Okay. Ask me a question.
All right. So what do you think about my stance and what I'm saying?
So, I'm 29.
Uh-huh.
So I'm old, but I'm not super old.
Yeah.
And I've been a fuckboy. I've been a good dude. I've been the whole nine. And it'll change. How you feel is gonna change. I can say that for a fact. When you really get into the world and you really see what's out there and you really see like what matters, it'll change. It'll change. So just keep being receptive. That's the biggest piece.
That's so interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Can I tell you something about myself?
Go ahead.
It won't.
We'll see. We'll do a follow-up. We'll do a longitudinal study.
Because
every 2 years, we'll do a stream.
I feel like, do you feel like I'm saying those things aren't important though?
No, it's not that. I feel like the biggest thing that stuck out to me is like, I think you think the dating pool is bigger than it is. Like,
for
at least that
myself or for like in general?
Both. Both for yourself and in general. Like I think you'll be surprised how few good dudes actually exist. And I think that's kind of what Courtney was trying to get at. And unfortunately, I mean, listen, these white women, they coming with it. These Hispanic women, they coming with it. So, hey, I'm doing my best to keep our men on this side. I'm trying to keep them like, yo, Black women love you. You need to love them back. You need this how you finesse and boom, boom, boom. But listen, I can only do so much. But yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, plot twist.
Mm-hmm.
I am totally one of those people that is so for dating outside of my race.
Really? Oh man, that's a whole nother stream.
I love a Hispanic man. Like what? Absolutely. All day.
That's interesting. I did a conversation with a divester. Have you heard that term?
No.
Yeah, divestors are like Black women who feel like other men are better than Black men. So divesting is like, dating white men, Hispanic men, Asian men, and getting the best bang for your buck.
I've also learned and figured out that white men are super attracted to me, which I think is interesting.
Man, listen, that's a whole nother conversation. We can bring you back. We can bring you back if you're down. We'll do it.
I'm down for it.
Okay, let's make it happen. But definitely, I do want to have you back. Like I said, I do owe you. So whenever, any way I can add value to whatever you're doing, let me know.
For sure. Thanks for having me. I appreciate
Thank you so much.
Everybody calling in and listening to my perspective and being super respectful.
Yeah, no, that's what we do here. That's what we need to talk is all about. But I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Go get some rest. It is almost 1 o'clock. Jesus Christ. I got to work in the morning too.
I've been up all day.
Yeah. But thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.
All right. Bye. All right, y'all. For the 283 people who are still here, shout out to y'all for still sticking it out to the end. I think that was a great stream, particularly the part where the women started dialoguing amongst themselves. Like I've said before, we need to talk as a stage, and I want to help facilitate meaningful and impactful and important conversation. And I think, the young lady's virality was a case study of some of the things that men and women are talking about. So y'all make sure you hit the replay, share it to somebody you know. Tomorrow, episode 60 is dropping, 60 or 70. I'm losing count. Let me make sure. Yeah, 60. Episode 60 is dropping. So I'll see y'all in the chat for that. 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Thursday, again, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. And Friday, we will be doing a stream with Dr. Tiasan Johnson. So please tune in for that. That is going to be incredible. But yeah, thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for participating. Shout out to all the super chats. Shout out to all the likes, the comments, the new members, the new subscribers. Yeah, we're going to keep pushing this thing to 100K and beyond. Thank y'all so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.